All right. Well, greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome back to the channel for this, our final live stream of Cinemacon 2025. We are in Las Vegas for the final two panels of the day of the whole Cinemacon. Paramount, which was a little bit earlier today, and we just got back into the hotel room from the Disney presentation. There was Lilo and Stitch footage. There was Fantastic Four footage. There was Thunderbolts footage. There was Avatar Fire and Ash footage. A lot of stuff to talk about here. So we are going to get started off by talking about first the Paramount Pictures presentation. That was a little bit earlier today. It was great. It was a really, really good presentation. Started off with one of the head honchos there. He always starts off Paramount's presentation with some kind of, goofy stunt, whatever. This time he pretended he was one of the bike riders in Tron, which is fun. By the way, there was some good Tron stuff. We're going to talk about that as well. So, yeah. And Sir Malcolm is asking, no Star Wars? No Star Wars. Nothing. Not even a mention of Star Wars in it. Well, because...
Or Lucasfilm.
Or Lucasfilm. Well, except for when they highlighted their 7 studios. But, Star Wars doesn't have a movie coming out. So there's that. All right. Let's get things kicked off here with a surprisingly good panel that was Paramount. So, Anne, what did they start off with?
So Paramount started with their 2026 kind of look into the future. They mentioned Children of Blood and Bone. I think it's a book.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know much about it.
Shooting in Africa.
Oh, yeah. Huge cast, too. Chiwetel Ejiofor is one of my favorite guys in the world. So,
Heart of the Beast, if anyone knows that movie.
Again, they didn't show footage of any of
No,
these things.
this is just all mentions for 2026. South Park movie to be titled.
With Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Yep.
That.
But they didn't say it was South Park. They just said it was Trey Parker.
Yes, it's
Good
Trey
point.
Parker,
Yeah.
Matt Stone. It said the big title logo was Untitled Trey Parker, Matt Stone, Kendrick Lamar movie. That's all it said.
Interesting about it is the colors were red, white, and blue. Did you guys notice that?
Oh,
the
yeah.
white and blue.
I
stroke.
did not notice
Yeah,
that.
so-
It's a sequel to Team America World Police. Here we go.
But the way the guy described it was it's going to be a huge movie with what? With something.
He didn't say with anything. He just said it's going to be
Yeah.
a huge film. That was it.
Yeah.
Sonic 4 and mention of Scream 7 as well.
So that's what did they actually start off with?
They started with The Running Man, which comes out in November. They brought Edgar Wright out, as well as Glenn Powell, Coleman Domingo, and Josh Brolin.
Yeah, which I don't know why. I didn't realize Josh Brolin was the villain of the film. I didn't know that. So they mentioned Running Man. I totally forgot about Running Man, to be honest with you. And I'm not going to lie. Obviously, it's being directed by Edgar Wright. I have a long history with Edgar Wright. I love Edgar Wright as a filmmaker. But this isn't exactly a film that's been high on my radar. It's a Running Man. It's Edgar Wright. I'm sure it's going to be good. It's got Glenn Powell. I really like Glenn Powell. But I don't know what you've been expecting from Running Man. Whatever it is, ignore it, because this was not what I was expecting to see. It looked really different from what I was expecting. It looked great. Like capital G, great. I like it. Of course, they're out on stage before they show the footage, and they're like, this has got thrills and it's intensity. You've never seen action like this. I'm like, yeah. And then they played it. And I think all of us looked at each other when that thing ended, and we were like, oh my God. Anyway, what did you think about it?
Well, okay. What happened at this Comic-Con, what's happening and Running Man is part 1 or part 2 of that. The other is The Long Walk. And both The Long Walk and The Running Man were written by Stephen King under pseudonyms. And they were collected once in a 4-volume, the Bachman books. He wrote them as Richard Bachman. And I said this earlier, when I was in junior high school, The Long Walk was like a cult novel. And The Long Walk came out in 79, and The Running Man came out, I'm probably wrong about this, but I want to say 81 or 82. And of course, they made it into the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, but that had nothing to do with the book. The book was very much inspired by a movie called The 10th Victim, which very Austin Powers 60s movie set in the future where they have a thing called the Big Hunt.
By the way, lower your hand a little bit just so people can see your face.
Oh.
There you go. Yeah, while you're talking. There you go.
There you go. So the Hunger Games, the Running Man, how it works is it's a game show. It's a reality show where you have to survive a hunt where people come after you and try and kill you. And if you win, you get whatever you want, millions of dollars. And The Running Man that they adapted in the 80s was very much not the book. But
Right.
what Edgar Wright did a lot, like with The Long Walk that Francis Lawrence had done, both, it is crazy to me that these novels that were so important to me when I was a teenager are now in 2025.
Yeah, by the way, they made sure to mention, by the way, Edgar Wright's on stage and saying, by the way, guys, this book about a futuristic world and stuff like that was set in 2025.
Yeah.
And we're all like, oh my God.
But this looks very much faithful to the novel, because the novel was nothing like The Running Man with Schwarzenegger. So to have both of these things come out is wild to me in the same year.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that it was a marquee movie. When they first announced it, I thought it was just going to be one of those smaller movies that I didn't think it was going to be the first movie that they would come out and actually, talk about and do a big presentation.
Oh, they
for.
spent some money on it.
This movie, the Arnold Schwarzenegger one, was my childhood. I never understood it. I was way too young. All I know is we always ran into the 3 booby lady. Right? That's the 3. This is the, or is that Total
That's
Recall?
Total Recall,
Total
dude.
Recall.
Okay, so never
Different
mind.
author.
So my
Different author. That's Philip K. Dick.
My thing was, my point is now void.
But it's still crazy to me to see both of these movies being given the A-list treatment. I mean, they're both great stories. And I think, they both deal with a future America that I never believed would exist.
Kind
We're
of
there.
exists.
We're there. We're there.
It looks like something that could be a new franchise, and it looks like it's gonna kind of capitalize on a younger audience, which is wild because there's such a strong following for the Hunger Games franchise from like the younger, even the Gen Zers. And I feel like this movie is gonna appeal to them, and then also appeal to an older generation that actually grew up with it or knows a lot about it. I didn't know anything about it, and I was like, wow.
And
this
if
looks
you
awesome.
can, it's interesting because The 10th Victim, the movie that came out in the 60s, directed by Elio Petri, that stars Ursula Andress and Marcello Mastroianni, is kind of the same story. And it just got it's awesome. And it just got released on Blu-ray by Kino Lorber last week. Maybe to capitalize on this.
I just want to point out just the one shot that I really liked was right in the beginning, that person running and then the arrow just slammed.
Oh,
my
that was brutal.
Very gruesome.
That was like, hello, we're here.
Yeah, so
This is what it's
the thing starts off, there's this woman starts running, and you see a guy let an arrow loose, it cuts to her, and it's just such a visceral oomph. The arrow goes through her head and slams her against a tree.
Yeah.
It was
It was awesome.
brutal shot.
It was like a harpoon more.
But also some of the other cast in it. Like I saw all of a sudden William H. Macy
Oh yeah.
popped up
Oh,
in
yeah.
there, which we don't see enough of. Who were some of the other people?
Coleman Domingo plays like the Richard Dawson role.
Yes.
He's our
Perfect.
master of ceremonies.
Yep, perfect. John
He's
Brolin, the
great.
villain. But who were some of the other? We saw a couple of other faces in there too that I'm trying to remember. I just remember William H. Macy because whenever William H. Macy pops up in something, I take notice. But yeah, man, it looked great.
Yeah.
I was so shocked. And like to your point, it's kind of like a trend right now because this is going to be so unlike, like you said, the Schwarzenegger movie, because the Schwarzenegger movie is nothing like the book.
It's an Arnold movie.
In the same time that we're getting a new Starship Troopers movie that Neil Blomkamp is doing, because it's going to be like the book, because
Yeah.
the other Starship Troopers movie is actually nothing like the book.
100%.
So it's kind of like a new trend we're starting to see here
So
right now.
Wild.
So apparently Lee Pace is in there.
Lee Pace is in
Yeah,
there?
Lee Pace and Michael Cera is in it too.
Oh yeah, we did see Michael Cera in there. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the guy who throws the...
That was the best moment of the really, really extended trailer that they showed
That was
us.
like a 5-6 minute
Yeah,
thing they
like you
showed,
see him
yeah.
with the squirt gun and
The
Oh, that
squirt
was
gun thing
dope.
was hilarious. I'm sitting there pumping the squirt gun. It's like, yeah, just wait for it. That was really good. So again, this is one of my favorite things at CinemaCon is when a movie comes out and surprises me. And we've had a number of those this year at CinemaCon. And
Yeah.
Running Man was the next one to add to the list. Looks surprisingly better than I thought it could be. I really do think everybody's going to like this. This looked really good.
I think Paramount presented 2 movies that were the needle movers for me. So this was one of them for sure.
All right. Well, make sure you mention when we get to the second one. All right. So what was the next film
All
that we
right.
talked about? That was The Running Man.
Next one was, okay, so we go into the animation section. They mentioned Paw Patrol, the Dino movie.
Oh, I'm so excited to skip that. I can't wait.
I'm sorry.
So excited to skip that.
I really like that last Paw Patrol movie. I'm not gonna lie, it was my very first one. It's great.
You're not alone. I know
Yeah.
other people like it too.
They did make a stupid topical joke about the Beatles 4
Yeah.
movies. They were going to do a movie about all 4 members of the Paw Patrol. But
Yeah. But what was the name of it?
I don't know.
The name though.
Yeah,
They had something in the that. But yeah. Anyway.
I
it
don't
was funny.
remember.
So they didn't really show us anything from it though. They just mentioned it.
No, but such a moneymaker when it comes to toys. So shout
Yeah.
out to my Spin Master friends there. The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender.
Oh, the last Airbender, Legend of Aang. They, again, didn't show
Mention.
anything.
Right.
Didn't really talk about this. Brought up the title thing on the screen. That was
But
it.
They did say that they officially released the title right there, Legend of Aang.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what Ann just said. Yeah.
right.
And they also brought up a cast list, including Stephen Yoon and a few other people. Yeah. But again, nothing to talk about. They didn't really show us anything.
Mention of the Ninja Turtles, next Ninja Turtles installment.
Yeah, again, didn't show us anything. No title, just kind of mentioned.
All
Yeah,
right.
not to be confused with The Last Ronin.
Which, yeah.
Just another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, but that didn't give us anything.
So we saw the Smurfs trailer
Oh, okay.
coming July 18th.
All right. So Anne says
Needle
right
mover.
away.
I was kidding.
This is the needle. So Anne says, as soon as the room's dark and all of a sudden some Rihanna music starts playing, Anne's like, "Oh, it's Smurfs time," and I'm like, "Okay, first of all, you got to understand the first trailer is one of the most offensively horrible things I've ever seen in my life. That first Smurfs trailer should be burned in the bowels of hell. I just couldn't believe that there wasn't somebody that could scrape together enough fragments of intelligence to realize we shouldn't put this out to the public. Because if the movie's any good, and who knows, it could be, that trailer was not going to sell that movie. And shame on everybody who works in any level of the departments at the studio that okayed that trailer going out into the wild. Because it was awful. That being said, I'm like, okay, now we're gonna see. I've had a bunch of movies, even just in the last year, where I saw the first trailer, I'm like, nah, and then I saw a second trailer, I'm like, okay. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna show some new Smurf stuff. I wanted to shit in my own hands and throw it at the screen. It is one of the dumbest, stupidest things. A pox on the houses of anybody who is making these movies. This was and you got Nick Offerman in it, who I love. Curse this movie. I mean, right from the thing, oh, look, the Smurfs are dancing hip hop in the thing, and you got a DJ, and oh, sound effects Smurf, and like everything that the Smurfs is not. And you know what? It's fine. It's fine. You want to change the identity of the Smurfs? You want to take it in a new direction for the new generation? That's okay. I'm all for that, actually. But make it fucking good. This is one of the stupidest looking things I've ever seen. Paramount, I love you guys. I love you guys. You know I love you. But what the fuck are you doing? This Smurfs movie is an abomination. It is against the will of God that you put this thing out in theaters. It's so bad. Anyway, sorry. I'll stop on it now.
Anyways, I thought it was all right.
Hang on a second.
No, I really did. I actually thought.
I was going to say, the last Smurf trailer I hated. This one moved the needle for me.
Are you April fooling us right now?
No,
because
I hated that trailer like you did, but this trailer I thought moved away from the pop culture references. I have to say, when Nick Offerman shows up and his Papa Smurf's brother, and he goes, no, it's okay, I'm just moisturizing, and he wipes his face off, I chuckled.
Yeah.
I chuckled.
Wow.
I thought that was kind of funny.
Wow.
You turned to me when we were walking out and you're like, that Smurfs thing? Less bad.
It was less bad.
It was
for me.
less bad.
Because I hated, like, there was no influencer Smurf. It wasn't so pandering. I felt that it kind of took itself seriously.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I just a little bit.
Yeah.
From the last trailer, which I agree with you, I still think the whole thing's stupid. I'll never watch it. But from a trailer standpoint, I did chuckle when Nick Offerman wiped his face off.
For me, it was just there were two jokes in a row for me liking it. It felt like one joke was funny, the next one was bad. If they got two jokes in a row that I enjoyed, I would have been like,
I didn't think anything was funny.
it was just like
except-
this, the needle mover, but in more of this way. It just kept going back and forth from good to bad, good to bad.
It was, you know what the problem is? They're like everything else. They're trying to take these franchises and turn them into something they're not. They're trying to make Smurfs like hip and
Like-
cool.
and, like,
Again, which
Trolls?
I'm okay with
Yeah.
if Trolls
It's
did
like
it.
they looked at
But Trolls made an
that.
entertaining, fun movie. I'm okay if you want to make that big shift as long as you make it that's something
But I
that's
think
good.
the
This doesn't
troll.
look good.
I think you're right. But the Trolls brand identity is a little edgier than
yeah,
Smurfs.
yeah.
You know, and there's something when they're trying to turn Smurfs away from. There's an innocence to Smurfs, and they're. I don't like a non-innocent Smurf. I don't want a little Smurf to know about the horrors of the world.
Yeah, I don't know. And the whole idea of taking the Smurfs into the real world is, of course, something they've already done.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll do a bit of a fish out of water kind of story sort of thing. Look, again, I'm going to really hope, because the trailers are the trailers, the movies are the movies.
Yeah.
And sometimes they are very, very different from each other. I'm going to cheer for this movie because I love Paramount. I want people to like it. I'm just saying right now, this is one of the most awful pieces of garbage
And
I think I've seen.
let me be clear. I will never ever watch this movie again. Like
So
in
it
my
didn't move the
entire
needle
life.
that much.
No, but at least it made me not hate it as much as I hate. I am never going to watch this movie. I can guarantee you that.
And needle mover. But, and I'm going to put you on the spot. What did you think about it, my loving wife?
Yeah, it wasn't great. It's just weird because I love Rihanna as a musician and artist,
Yeah.
but her voice doesn't match the character, if that makes sense. Like it just looks off to me. The best part was Gargamel's design.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I
no,
love how
you mean his brother?
His brother.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Rosmel.
Rosmel?
yeah.
Yeah, Gargamel and
I
Rosmel.
love
Yeah,
how
something
he
like that.
looks. I think that was probably
Because
it.
Rihanna's not innocent. And Smurfs
No.
should be innocent.
But that's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that too. That's fine.
But you know what? Her enthusiasm. You know, they showed a video of her.
Yeah.
I do respect
Well,
her.
and remember, she was actually here last year. She
Yeah.
came out on
I
stage
respect
last
her
year.
enthusiasm. And for her sake, I want Rihanna. Maybe she'll become a legendary Smurf. And I want that for her.
Again, I'm going to cheer for the movie. I will. I hope it's good, and I hope people enjoy it. I'm just saying, the marketing so far, absolute zero. Absolute zero.
Did you see the roster they had for the Smurfs though? This is
Oh,
collecting checks. Nick Kroll, Kurt Russell, Sandra Oh, Zolo, the Blue Beetle, Octavia Spencer. Jeez, James Corden.
Yeah,
They've
but
got
all these people literally had to spend one afternoon, like come into the sound booth for one afternoon and read their lines. But
We'll give you
Hey.
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus. All right, so that was the atrocity known as Smurfs. All right, what was the next thing they covered?
The next thing they covered was SpongeBob Search for SquarePants.
Okay, now I will say this. I'm not a SpongeBob guy, so I really have no North Star here or any point of reference for myself. I've never watched the TV show. I watched a bit of one of the movies. They are what they are. They're just not for me, but they absolutely have a passionate following. And it looked like whoever this is targeted at, and there are many, that this was going to appeal to those people.
Yeah.
I think people who are into SpongeBob will probably be delighted. And Mark Hamill came out on stage because he's the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's the villain in the film, The Flying Dutchman, the new SpongeBob movie. And so he came out on stage with the guy who does the voice of SpongeBob. And again, it's not a movie that's going to be for me, but I could see how it was a good piece of footage because it's going to appeal to people who do like SpongeBob.
That wasn't Clancy Brown in the beginning, was
Oh,
it?
it
Yeah,
was.
it
I turned to
was.
Rob. As soon the first shot of him, I leaned over Rob. I was like, "Is that like
Yes.
the King, Clancy
Yeah.
Brown?"
Yeah.
See, he
And
knows
Rob
what's
was like,
good.
"I think it is." Yeah.
He knows what's good. He's got good shades.
The number of times we saw SpongeBob's butt morph into something,
I love
it.
something. I have grown friends that grew up with it, and they're gonna go see.
Although
it.
I will say this: what's the name of his stupid
Patrick.
friend?
Patrick.
Star.
When they're putting on pirate outfits, and then the camera goes to Patrick, and he's got the eye patch worn as a groin piece. He's got an eye patch put on like a bathing suit, just with the eye patch covering the junk.
good.
I'm like,
That was funny.
that's clever. Even
Yeah.
I was like, that's clever.
There was good stuff in that trailer.
Yeah.
But if I understood this right, Mark Hamill said, I was in an episode in season 5 of SpongeBob. He was the voice of something in episode 5 of
think
SpongeBob.
he said it was 18 years ago.
And then he said, and that was 18 years ago.
Yeah.
Actually, the joke was, I did an episode once, SpongeBob in season 5, and you can tell how much they love it because 18 years later, they asked me to come back. But I mean, I mean,
Pretty
I
good.
guess it has been around that long.
It's one
Yeah.
of the longest running animated shows of all time.
Is it weird that it still feels like it's a new thing?
Yes.
It still feels kind of like, maybe it's because I've never really watched it that much. So,
Dude, I watched SpongeBob when I was like 7. So
you have kids? Have your kids? Do your kids watch SpongeBob?
we haven't shown them SpongeBob, but I would. Like I mean, this is one that I would. There's other animated movies and younger films for younger kids that I'm more into, but yeah,
I believe it really took off because with people Anne's age, because you're our neighbors. Anytime they see SpongeBob, who are Anne's age, they always like cheer and like. So I can't wait to see my neighbor take his kid to see SpongeBob. It'll be amazing because I don't think his kid will like. I think his kid is smarter than the.
Yeah. Again, I'm not a SpongeBob guy, but it looked cute. It did. We got to give it.
Yeah.
All right. So that was SpongeBob. What was up next?
All right, here we go. The next movie was The Naked Gun.
Oh,
Liam Neeson,
yes.
Pam Anderson, August 1st.
Okay. I don't. Ray, maybe
Frank
you can.
Drebin Jr.
Ray, maybe you can look this up. Did you see if they released whatever it was from Naked Gun to the world? I don't know if they released
I
it or
believe
not.
they did.
Okay, so when they announced that they were doing Naked Gun, and they said Liam Neeson was going to be playing Frank Drebin,
Yeah, they did.
they're like,
Junior.
yeah, but there's nobody else. There's nobody else that could be in that movie and play that role. And to see, like, we have seen how absolutely hilarious Liam Neeson is. And we got a little bit of that when he was in A Million Ways to Die in the West. But other than that, he's never done a full-blown comedy.
And Seth Rogen produced. I mean, Seth Rogen. I can't
yeah.
believe I said that.
The Family Guy.
No. Yeah, Family Guy.
Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane produced this movie.
Yep. And of course, who did A Million Ways to Die in the West
Yeah.
with him. And so this is other than A Million Ways to Die, this is his first really just full-on big lead in a comedy. And I thought that was a great idea, but nerves abounded within me because there hasn't been a good spoof comedy in over 20 years.
Also, very politically incorrect.
Oh yeah. They swung, which is the spirit and the tradition
Yeah.
of Naked Gun.
Generation Z is going to go bananas.
I think they're gonna love it actually. But just no one's done it right. I mean, you gone are the days of Hot Shots Part 2,
Yeah.
Top Secret, things like that. Like ever since the days of those two guys who made films like Meet the Spartans and all those other
Even
terrible
Scary Movie.
Yeah, I didn't even.
Those
like
were the last
Scary
good ones,
Movies
like
one.
the first 3 scary movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
didn't.
so too.
Yeah, so like it hasn't been done. So while I thought it's a great idea and casting Liam Neeson was great, are you actually going to be able to do it? Ladies and gentlemen, they did it. They did it. That preview they showed us, I was trying to make a mental note of counting how many times I laughed out loud. I stopped after the first 30 seconds because there's no point in counting. I was laughing through the whole damn thing. And oh my God, Liam Neeson is fearless as a dramatic actor. If you want to be a comedic actor, you also have to be fearless. Like if you really want to, like a Jim Carrey, right? Liam Neeson is fearless as a comedic actor. He does things in this, but it's like, I can't believe Liam Neeson is doing this. And there were jokes that were direct throwback kind of jokes to the old Naked Gun ones. I think the gold medal in this, though, was the OJ joke.
That was the best joke of the
Oh.
whole convention.
Oh,
All
my
the panels.
God, that was so funny. Anyway, so I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Pamela Anderson looks great.
You know, Priscilla Presley was great in the Naked Gun movies.
She's
But
a-
Pamela Anderson looks to be a great follow-up.
Yep, she's a great, just as
she
Liam
looked
Neeson is
good.
great to fill in the shoes of
Yeah.
Leslie Nielsen, she is great to fill in the shoes of Presley. And I loved what I saw anyway. Cody, what did you think about the Naked Gun stuff we saw?
I like you couldn't stop laughing. Everyone couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah.
It's amazing that it works. That it very much feels like the original Naked Gun.
It does.
And it's that style of humor, and it goes for it, and it works. It's amazing. It's
It was
amazing.
filthy, too.
Yeah.
It had some
Oh,
really
yeah.
filthy jokes that I totally appreciated.
Like you're saying, nothing came close this CinemaCon
No.
to the laughter we got from there. I think it was a relief actually. It felt like therapy when I was laughing through that. This was like
Especially because around the convention hall and throughout Caesars, there's Naked Gun stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
So we've kind of been like,
Yeah.
okay, this better hit, and it did.
It did kind of start off a little weird with him pulling off the guy's arms. For a second, I thought this is not good because that wasn't funny to me. But from that point on, it just
ramped
all
up.
And
the way
it got progressively
Yeah.
dirtier.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that final, the three.
the infrared or whatever that.
Oh my God. But you see, that's right in the spirit. Like one of my favorite funny parts of the old Naked Gun movies is the camera's on Neeson and,
Pam Anderson.
the original Frank Drebin.
Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, Leslie Nielsen, not Neeson.
Yeah.
Leslie Nielsen is standing in frame, and they're by a giant bookshelf. And Presley goes, I just need to grab this. And she climbs up a ladder. The camera stays on Neeson, and you see him looking up because she's out of frame now. She's wearing a dress, and he says, nice beaver. And then she comes climbing down the ladder with a big stuffed beaver. She goes, thank you. I just recently had it stuffed. You see that, and that's the spirit of the humor
Oh man.
that they totally brought into this trailer
But
as
the one
well.
shot with the dog. Let's just say the dog.
The dog was hilarious.
It was great.
I'm glad you brought
I was
up
like, I want to be there.
Leslie Nielsen. He left a massive void, I think, in film that hasn't. I don't think he's been replaced by anybody. Like,
There's never been there's like whenever we lose one of the greats, there are other actors who are kind of cut from the same cloth, right? There's not anybody cut from the same cloth as him.
Yeah, you know that the Zucker brothers, when they tapped him for Airplane,
Right.
I mean, nobody thought that guy was like a comedic talent. And I think audiences didn't expect him to be that way. But he, of course, I am serious.
Surely. You
Don't
can't
call
be
me
serious.
Don't call me Shirley. I mean, and they played that up because they did a whole TV series with him too.
Yeah, they did.
Police
Yeah.
Squad, and that turned into the Naked Gun movies.
Did you ever watch the Naked Gun movies, Anne? Because they're older.
No, and I've tried, and they weren't that funny to me.
Well, they
Right,
were
well-
definitely products
Right.
of the
Yeah,
time
that's-
that
I
they
think that's
came in.
why.
Have you ever seen Airplane? The first Airplane?
I don't think so.
That's still the king.
It holds up. Airplane
It
holds
holds
up.
up.
Yeah.
you're more Hot Shots, right? You like the Hot Shots with Charlie Sheen,
But yeah,
like which was like trying to be the successor to like a lot of those ones.
But at any rate, I look. Previews are designed to try to make movies look good. Some succeed, some are Smurfs. But this
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
this worked, man. I can't wait to see this
I'm
movie.
gonna put you on the spot right
Okay.
now. Which made you laugh more when we saw the Asian comedy or this one?
Joyride.
Joyride or this one?
Well, they showed us the whole movie.
I thought they
of
showed
Joyride.
us a trailer before.
No, they showed us the whole movie of Joyride. So I
Okay,
can't
right.
really.
Oh.
God, I love that movie, and nobody.
Joyride.
So I just watched it the other day.
Literally, Anne said it was on. She came back to the hotel room the other night. She's like, it was on, and I just watched it again. I won't get sidetracked for long. Joyride is the funniest movie in the last 20 years.
Well, we did see
If you
it
haven't
here.
watched it,
Yeah.
go watch it.
I don't understand why that movie didn't find its audience.
They didn't market it enough.
It's hard,
And it's
a hard one to market.
and to be fair, it's not a movie that's for everyone.
Yeah.
But I think it's the funniest film of the last 20 years.
so bawdy.
What does
It's
that
so-
mean, Cody?
Means it's really dirty, Ray, and not everyone has
It's
your
so
brain.
dirty.
Hang
and
on, I
love
didn't
it.
finish my thought. So I haven't seen the first Naked Guns.
Right.
This is the second needle mover for me.
Oh, really? This is the
Yes,
second one.
I was
Ah,
so surprised
okay,
at how
okay.
funny it was. And I think if Paramount was going after an audience like me, who, maybe has never seen or didn't find that humor funny before, this trailer got me. It really did.
Yeah. It's by
Locked
the
me
way,
the whole time.
I've had a lot of people emailing me all day, and I see a few people in the live chat this too say, but did they showcase the Kool-Aid movie? I've got a lot of people asking that.
That's
And
pretty funny.
You have to watch the stew to
Yeah.
understand the joke, but
Real quick, I gotta say, I grew up watching the Naked Gun movies. My dad showed me them. I saw they are very funny to me. I feel like there are people my age that have never seen them, and they're gonna see this trailer, not even know it's a remake, and think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was, and again, can this be the resurrection of the slapstick spoof comedy? Maybe. I hope it is.
That makes fun of everybody.
Everybody and everything.
Sorry, sequel. It's not.
There are no
sequel.
sacred cows.
All right. So that was Naked Gun, and it's awesome and it's great. So, all right, what's next?
So the next movie was Channing Tatum. No, I'm just kidding. The next movie was Roofman, but I wrote down Channing Tatum.
Dude, they showed us the whole movie.
Yeah, it was-
Well, again,
That's how it felt.
here's the thing. We had this conversation before. I find that whenever I see a trailer that I went like, I feel like they just showed me the whole movie. 90% of the time, it doesn't end up being that way. And I don't know what's going on. But anyway, Channing Tatum comes out. And I remember when he walked out on stage, like, ladies and gentlemen, Channing Tatum. I'm like, what is he in? And Roofman. And like, I barely even remember that being mentioned once. This Roofman thing. Anyway, based on a true story of a guy who, without any violence, apparently he's a really nice guy, based on a true story, burglarized 16 McDonald's. And one time even he put the staff in the freezer, and when one of the staff he had to put in the freezer didn't have a jacket with them, he literally took off his own jacket and gave it to the guy and said, somebody will be here to let you out soon. But then he gets caught, he escapes from prison, and he ends up living in the roof of a Toys R Us that happens to be managed by Peter Dinklage. I mean, not in real life,
Could
but the
happen.
actor. I thought what they showed us was good.
yeah.
It made me interested. It wasn't one of the best things we saw today. I'm not like climbing the walls to go see it, but I thought it looked interesting. The fact that this is based on a true story, I thought was pretty cool. What did you think?
I thought same thing. I really liked it. I mean, it seemed like it was funny. It made me want to, Wikipedia the real case, find out like what was going on. But he wants to. He's got kids. He's a family man. He's trying to help his family. It looks wholesome.
Yeah.
It was wholesome.
Yeah.
It looked like a family movie. Because the fact that he hides in a Toys R Us, I love the fact like when you go on the lam, like when you escape from prison, everyone thinks you flee.
You go
leave.
far.
But he's like, I need to figure out a way to stay somewhere close.
Yeah. The key to something is
And he-
stay put.
And he
right?
like
That's what he
stays
said.
inside a display, like some giant floor that no one would look on.
And by the way, was that Lakeith Stanfield?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. Okay, so Lakeith is playing like his best friend.
Yeah,
So that looks good.
I will be watching this with a microscope because I am one of the very few who've got locked inside a Toys R Us, and so I want to see if it's authentic. I want to see if it's authentic. You never heard that story? But I don't want to say it, but I was locked in a Toys R Us
All night?
No, I had to pull open the doors, and then alarms went off, and then the bosses came like 20 minutes later. But I was so freaked out, all the dolls started talking to me. I swear to God, it was so dark. Yeah, but yeah,
happen.
the Toys R Us thing is very nice to see in this film.
But anyway, what did you think about it?
McDonald's, Channing Tatum, and Toys R Us. I'm in. Oh, that's the plot, right?
Yeah, that's the plot. That's just the plot. And who was playing his ex-wife or his wife?
I didn't
I can't
recognize
remember,
her.
but she was really funny in the trailer too.
And let's be clear, I think all of this was for his daughter, right? Just to give her some stuff.
Yeah.
Like, the daughter's gonna play a big part.
Maybe,
right, in
maybe
his acting,
not.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure
That's
about
okay.
that, but we'll see. All right, so that was Roofman. All right, what was next?
Then they just they brought out the cast of Regretting You, which is a movie coming out this fall. So I did have to Wikipedia it because I wasn't.
Who was in it?
It's
Dave Franco.
Dave Franco, Allison Williams, McKenna Grace.
Oh, you talking about the one where they were just all
Yes.
sitting in?
Yeah,
they
they're
didn't
out
bring them out; they were up on the screen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's
yeah.
a video of them.
Yeah,
reading
so
the
they
book.
didn't show us anything, so who knows?
Yeah.
All right, next one. Mission Impossible.
Oh, that was
Final Reckoning.
okay. Well, it really started off with, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise comes out on stage. And I guess this year's Director of the Year award because every year Cinemacon gives out a bunch of awards to some people. And this year, their Director of the Year was going to Christopher McQuarrie, who is actually one of my favorite filmmakers. He's the writer of one of my top 10, has been in my top 10 as long as I can remember, movies of all time, The Usual Suspects. He wrote that, won an Academy Award for it at the age of 26. Anyway, so then he's been making a ton of stuff, obviously, with Tom Cruise. So Tom Cruise comes out to present the award, but he gives like a 15-minute speech just about McHugh.
What
That's the way he
a
calls him.
wonderful speech.
It was awesome.
It was a fabulous speech. And as somebody who's a big fan of Christopher McQuarrie, or McHugh, as Tom Cruise calls him, one of the things I never knew about him was that we all know the story about Brad Pitt's movie World War Z, that they made it and they hated it, and they went back and remade like 3/4 of the film and turned it into a completely different movie. a movie that actually ended up being pretty darn good.
$500 million.
Yeah. I never knew that the guy who saved that movie was Christopher McQuarrie. I never knew that.
That was a really cool story.
That was a
Yeah.
great story that Tom Cruise, and then Tom Cruise is telling a story, and we were making Mission Impossible 3. Or no, it wasn't 3. It was
4. Ghost Protocol.
Right. And he goes, me and Brad Bird are standing around. We're trying to figure out this scene, and we're having a hard time. And I just got on the phone with Christopher McQuarrie. I said, fly out here right now. And I never told Brad Bird he was coming. So he said he just came in the room, and all of a sudden, we said to Chris, we said, here's the thing, we don't know what to do. And he said, Chris, right there on the spot, came up with it.
Blue sticks, red. Or
No, yeah, blue.
Blue is glue, red is
Red's
dead.
dead.
Blue is
And
blue,
That's when
red.
he's climbing the tallest building in the world.
Then he said just him and Brad Bird went off to a corner, and he said we were literally shooting stuff as Chris was writing it, and all that. Then of course all the films they've already made together again, and McQuarrie's done the last couple of Mission Impossible films. It was a wonderful speech. What stood out to you the most about it?
I loved when he goes, and people are always going to come up to us, and they think that Christopher McQuarrie is Jonathan Lipnicki from Jerry Maguire.
Yep, and you can see it. You can
can't
totally
see
see it.
That, and it's still going to happen. That was funny. But you know what? That was a really intelligent, really heartfelt speech about artistic collaborators, and the respect that they showed each other was really inspiring. And that's what the film business needs. You have to have collaborators to make these things work, and their collaboration's gone on for decades now.
Yeah, been a long time.
I wanted to mention that also, like his cards, the cue cards he was reading off of. Did you notice the teleprompter was off?
he clearly
I think
wrote
he
that
made it a
himself.
point that he probably wrote that himself.
Oh,
Yeah.
And also the little sweet gesture for Val Kilmer in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
sweet.
Yeah. So it should be mentioned that the very first thing Tom Cruise did when they announced him and he walked out on stage, where he said, I would just love us to have a moment of silence for my dear friend Val Kilmer. And he talked a little bit about Val as well, and then they moved on to Christopher McQuarrie. But that was a really nice moment. That was a really
Especially
nice moment.
because we saw Top Gun Maverick at Cinemacon.
At Cinemacon, 2 years ago here, and so that was a nice thing too. So the speech was great. Christopher McQuarrie comes out, accepts the award. He says he has a really good acceptance speech as well. And then they move into showing us some new stuff from Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Yes.
And listen, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, besides suffering from a really stupid title, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. They've taken out the Part 1. Now it's Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning. It didn't do all that well for a Mission Impossible film. I quite liked it. I didn't think it was in the top 2 or 3 best Mission Impossible films, but I enjoyed it, and I've been looking forward to this one. I'll tell you what, the first trailer they put out was pretty good. What they showed us today, infinitely better.
Trailer of the year.
Really?
Wow.
You like that much?
I mean, in terms of, look, for me, the thing that I've seen that most is Project Hail Mary is the thing that I like the most. But this trailer as a trailer, what a great piece of, if you want to look at great trailers, this was a great trailer.
And they really built up the fact that it's the final reckoning, and everything in his life has built up to this moment, referencing the knife from the very original Mission Impossible, all the major stunt pieces kind of weaved into.
Yeah,
the
it
build-up.
really was. It was interesting. I want to know it made me really interested in the plot. And it looks terrific.
Yep.
My
and
God.
the aerial stuff in those planes.
Incredible.
And the shot we talked about, the aerial stuff of the shot when he jumps off the aircraft carrier.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
go
That
ahead.
was
well, I was going to
dope.
say, so there's a shot where he jumps off an aircraft carrier into what looks like the ocean.
Yeah.
And there's clearly like an IMAX camera that follows him all the way down. So some cameraman jumped out and was just like, instead of making sure he doesn't die and go splat, because spoiler, if you jump into water from a high enough depth, you're dead. And that guy, it's amazing. I would love to see a behind the scenes like shot of how they
will.
filmed that.
Yeah, you
So
will.
cool.
You will.
Oh, yeah,
You'll
they'll
see it.
totally have.
I remember that part. Me and you both.
Yeah, we
reacted
both,
to
you
that.
grabbed me, you were like, dude.
I was like, because it just was crazy that carrier was right behind him. Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
And I also love that they didn't really hyper focus on like the one main stunt, which we know is going to be the
Exactly.
airplane
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
like they did in the past. And like, yet we're still just even more hyper.
Yeah,
than we were.
it feels like where they played us to death with the motorcycle stunt in the last one. Like we had all seen the motorcycle stunt 5,000 times before the movie ever came out. I feel like they're saving that this time
It-
for the airplane scene. We're just going to really experience the stunt for the first time when we see the movie.
It felt like the greatest hits of stunts. It was a whole montage of stunts in this one movie.
Incredible.
Like, on the plane, going to the water. Even there was a little underwater sort of thing.
It was
he
also
doing.
a pornographic film about America's military might. Every time they showed an aircraft carrier, an Osprey, or whatever they showed, all this military
Oh
technology.
yeah, they did show some F-18.
They just kept showing things that was just, God damn, America's great.
Well, I love it when I think it's Nick Offerman is the general saying, "You gave him an aircraft carrier."
Yeah.
So I guess Tom Cruise is now Captain Cruise or whatever. But I think around the table here, we all really liked what we saw from it. So good. Hopefully they're able to stick the landing. Okay, I won't talk about what I was going to say. But hopefully they can stick the landing.
Oh,
on this.
now we're gonna get super
All right.
about
All right. And that was it
That was Paramount.
for the Paramount presentation. Good presentation. Really
Yeah.
enjoyed. Oh, and by the way, the Paramount, I believe it was the Paramount guy, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. But again, he took some time to kind of call out to the theaters saying, guys, look, we're in a partnership, like the head of Paramount's out there talking to movie theater owners. We got to provide you with product, and we're reminded every day about what our responsibilities are. But he said, we need to make sure that on the exhibition side, we're also doing a lot of things to get the audiences back into the theater and stuff like that.
Right.
And then he brought up a whole bunch of things. And again, to which I wanted to stand up and scream in total support. First thing he brings up, no more than 4 to 5 trailers. No more than 4 to 5 trailers.
And he even said, respect the audience.
Yeah.
He said that.
Yes. Respect. You got to respect your. But what were some? I can't
He
remember.
said no
now.
ads too.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
no
4
ads.
to 5
No ads.
trailers, no ads.
Discount Tuesdays.
He said, why not make
Discount
discount
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays?
Yeah.
And why not make the discount go all the way to 6 o'clock?
Yeah. Instead of just cutting off at 4 like a lot do, he said stretch it out to 6 o'clock. Yeah.
We've seen a lot of the studio heads come out and say things that could improve or like they want improvement, but he actually had points up of specific things, and that's always, I can always appreciate that. Not all those things will work, but at least he's thinking about it more than just saying, yeah, we got to fix things, and just walking off the stage. I do like that.
But I want to go back to what you reminded us about. Not only the 4 to 5 trailers, period, no fucking commercials. No, I mean, trailers are commercials, but I mean, no ads for random product stuff. That is not, I won't go off on my whole rant again right now, but again, the audience paid to be there, give them the experience they paid for. So I just love that the studio guy was there encouraging that.
He had 6 or 7 points up there. I wish I remembered the rest of them.
Yeah, I wish I could have
It
taken
really
a
sucks.
picture
Yeah,
of it.
I know, it really
But we weren't
sucks.
allowed. Okay. So that was Paramount. And again, very good presentation from Paramount. So then we went, some people had lunch. Ray and I worked on some stuff here. And then it was time at 2:30 this afternoon for the Disney presentation, the final presentation of Cinemacon this year. So, Anne, what did we talk about at Cinemacon?
Well, first was Lilo and Stitch, and we did get a little bit more footage.
Yeah, they showed us some extended stuff that goes out beyond the trailer that they revealed. Everything they've showed for Lilo and Stitch just looks adorable. And then there's that scene where, are you sure that's a dog? And Stitch goes, rough. They played a longer version of that. Then the whole scene where you see him pretending like the soda sprayer is a shotgun.
That was funny.
Gun. They played the fuller, more spread out thing of that. Again, everything I've just seen, this scene just looks adorable. What do you guys think about it?
I loved how I love how he's integrated with the real world. The look of Stitch in the movie.
And how the environment reacts to him.
Yeah,
It
it's really
looks flawless.
And they did have an opening montage where Stitch was invading all these other
the Disney films.
all
That
the
was
Disney
awesome.
films. It was very, very funny. But look, is it something that me as a old man with one foot in the grave is going to run out and see? I might not have thought I would have, but I really want to see this movie.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I really do. It looks delightful,
It does
doesn't
look
it?
delightful, yeah.
It just looks delightful.
Yeah, I think it will be. I want to take my kids. I was already sold on this movie, and now I'm like, let's go.
I mean, I just want to go see it. Like, if you're having a bad day, I felt this. When School of Rock was coming out, I saw I saw an early screening of it, and I was married at the time, and I said to my wife, I want to go see this in a matinee with a bunch of kids. to just to bathe and bask in their reaction to it. And the kids loved it. They just loved it. And my wife turned to me and she said, "This is a good idea." And I kind of feel that way about this movie. Of course, I'm not married. I'll take Elizabeth, but it looks joyful and fun and delightful, and like they really pulled it off.
Yeah, I remember, like, one of the reasons this movie's kind of special to me. I mean, I always liked Lilo and Stitch, but it was about 2 years ago, and it came up in conversation that Anne had never seen Lilo and Stitch, and which is funny because, like, over the years, like, when a lot of people are doing caricatures or having little dolls of Anne made, right, that's usually based on Lilo, and so she's never seen it. So one night we just booked the evening off. We made some popcorn, got some food, and we just cuddled up and put on Lilo and Stitch, and you loved it.
I can't believe how much I cried. The movie's not even that long. I think that
No, it's a short
like
film.
90
Yeah.
minutes long, and yeah, this one's gonna wreck me too, I'm sure.
Does it-
Just because.
Is this supposed to be a one-for-one remake, or is it a new story or whatever?
No, it's a remake of the original. It's not going to be a shot for shot.
Okay, I can
It's-
start with this one then.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the animated film either.
Yeah.
So.
So what did you think about what we saw?
Oh, I just can't wait to see it. At this point, we're counting down to May 23rd, so this to me is gonna be the moneymaker. I've been saying that all along.
All right, so that was Lilo and Stitch. This is an easy Billy. This is an easy $1 billion film. So yeah, really excited about it. It's everything we're seeing for it is looking better and better. All right, what's next?
I'm very excited about the next one. Freakier Friday, coming out on August 8th.
Oh, I'm so glad you're excited for it.
I'm excited too.
There you
okay?
go. Thank you, Cody.
All right, so look, I got to admit, I was a little caught off guard and surprised by how much enthusiasm there was, even amongst our fans, when they announced they were doing Freakier Friday, and they put out the first trailer for a while ago. And of course, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan came out on stage, and Jamie Lee Curtis is always awesome. And so they hyped up the movie, and then they showed this big, long, extended sort of thing from it. I didn't find it funny. But again, I say that acknowledging I'm not the target audience. That doesn't mean I don't think other people will enjoy it, because clearly people do. But it's definitely that formula. If you like the formula from, what was it, 2003?
Yeah, you might be right on. Or
And that was a reboot,
Yeah.
a remake.
If you were a fan of that, this is totally in synchronicity with it. I mean, if you like that Freaky Friday, I think you're going to like Freakier Friday.
even though this takes place like 20 years later, it feels like it picks right back up. Same tone.
Yeah.
Obviously the same characters. Yeah, we're in.
What did you think about it?
I'm just happy to see Lindsay Lohan looking radiant on
She
stage.
looked great.
I mean,
too.
I love Mean Girls,
Yes.
and I've always been a fan of hers. And she went into, I always thought that she was going to be lost to us, like a Dana Plato situation where Hollywood would have chewed her up and spit her out. But I like to see Lindsay Lohan. She's on the big comeback tour, and she looks great. She looks funny in the movie. She looks like she's having a great time. She couldn't stop laughing at JamieLee Curtis.
yeah,
on
they were
stage.
having a
Yeah.
good time on
They were
stage.
having a
Yeah, they
blast.
really were. Who doesn't have a good time with
You
Jamie Lee
go,
Curtis?
Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah. What did you think
Beautiful
about
redhead,
it?
you.
Yeah, well, the trailer, I like the first trailer better than the one we just saw, but I just love Lindsay Lohan. I am a big fan, and she's making this comeback with all these Netflix movies
Yeah.
that I've been watching, and I'm eating those up too. I'm excited. I love this movie. 2003. I cannot believe
You
it's
nailed
been
it,
that
John.
long.
But I will say this though. Okay, as somebody who said, I was like, it's a lukewarm reaction for me, whatever. But there was a scene they showed us that I must admit I laughed pretty hard at. So obviously there's a teenage girl. It's not just Lindsay and Jamie Lee Curtis this time. It's two younger, and they do like a four-way swap
Yeah.
of things, right? So
Yeah.
this teenager is in Jamie Lee Curtis's body, and they're in like some record shop, and this dude comes over. By the way, Mrs. Whatever, not realizing it's the teenager that's in her body. I want to ask, is your husband still around? And she goes, "Oh yeah, he's still alive. It's just that he's old." And he's like, "Really? How old is he?" I don't know, somewhere between 50 and 100. I never asked, or something like that. The way Jamie Lee Curtis plays it, I had to admit, man, that was
funny.
That was funny.
I think there's going to be a lot of jokes like that, like just playing on age and myself being in my 40s, I think a lot of that is going to sound archaic because they were like in the record shop asking for old music and they said Coldplay.
Oh,
I'm like,
old
Are
classic
they-
music like Coldplay.
Are they
Like,
that
you
old?
shut your mouth. So that was pretty good. So anyway, that was Freakier Friday. You're not going to see me terribly excited about it, but again, I think for the big number of people who really do like that original, I think this is going to be right up your alley. I think there's going to be some in there to really like. All right, what is next?
the next one is Tron Ares. Yes. October.
Okay, I totally forgot about this one. I like in thinking about what are the movies they're going to showcase at the Disney panel. I'd kind of forgotten about Tron Ares until we got in line and you said, dude, I think they're going to show something for Tron Ares. I'm like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. Right? So here's the thing. I didn't really like Tron Legacy. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was terrible or anything like that, but a great soundtrack, obviously. It definitely had its moments, but I wasn't the biggest fan of it, even though I had been looking forward to it. So they add Jared Leto to this thing as Ares in Tron Ares. And they introduce, and Jeff Bridges and Jared Leto come walking out on stage. So that was great and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, and I thought they're going to talk about it. I don't think they're going to show us anything. But then Jeff Bridges is like, and now you're the first audience who's going to see footage
The old man.
of The Old Man, season 3. No, of Tron Ares. And I mean, shit, it looked really good.
Yeah.
It I know you were kind of looking forward to that. What did you think about what they showed us?
the way that the last Tron movie ended, and it kind of planted a few little seeds of like, what if this made its way to the real world?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. And the design over the city. Oh my! I mean, Rob and I did collective.
So, 23 years ago, I made a documentary on the making of Tron for its 20th
Right,
anniversary.
you did.
So I was immersed in the world of Tron for a long time. I interviewed Jeff Bridges, spent a lot of time with Steven Lisberger, the director of Harrison Ellen Shawn, and I have to tell you, seeing that recognizer in the real world,
yes,
I was like so
Terrifying.
It was. I gotta tell you,
what it
my
was.
little nerd Bobby Burnett. When I was a little boy, I didn't say Bobby. I don't know why I said Bobby. I know
said Bobby.
a little
Bobby.
Bobby Burnett looking at that recognizer over an American
dude.
metropolitan
City, yeah.
area. I was like, oh my! And then the light cycles.
Oh,
and
it splits the police car.
Police cars following.
Okay, so there's two lights. I always see these two light cycles racing through the streets, right? And there's a police car chasing them, and one of the riders, you don't see their faces, looks over their shoulder, then hits a button on the bike, and the light beam comes out, and the police car is sliced right in half. It looked awesome. What was the thing called again? The
recognizer.
The recognizer. When you see that thing appearing over the city, it felt huge.
And it's cool
It
because
just felt
So
so
great.
those were really iconic in the first film, and then they made them even way cooler. And I'm with you. I did not love Tron Legacy, except the Daft Punk soundtrack.
Yeah, soundtrack.
See, that was
And
my intro to the franchise, and then I went back.
Oh, okay.
And I got to say, this word is way overused. I probably overuse it, epic, but this movie feels epic.
It feels. It does.
really
It feels really epic.
And I love that Jeff Bridges is like a 9 Inch Nails did the music for this
Yeah,
movie.
we got
Yeah.
9-inch nails doing the soundtrack. And by the way, when we're watching the scenes and you hear that 9-inch nails music playing behind it, this is, to quote Robert Meyer Burnett, this is metal.
It was
This
so
was
good.
absolutely metal. This felt so good. Anyway, Anne, what did you think
I mean,
about it?
Tron, all the ones that I've seen is always an experience. And I think that trailer brought this. It's not just about the visuals, it's about the music going along with it. It's fast paced. There's a lot of things going on in this trailer. I wish it slowed down a little bit so I could kind of just see some of the things because it was so fast.
We did learn that Jared Leto's character is named Ares.
Yeah. He is Ares of Tron.
So I guess this is what I gleaned, because we didn't really learn anything about the plot other than people have spilled out into the real world. But he
remember,
seems
he
to be,
does say that.
well, he's
He
a
goes,
program that's been given a mission.
right. He says, I go into the real world to complete my directive.
Yeah, to complete my directive.
But they don't tell us what the directive is.
Yeah,
what
no.
he's out there doing. So
And it's funny because after we saw that trailer, after the presentation was over, I read this thing saying that Elon Musk expects that robot AIs are going to invade our planet, and I'm like, great. I just saw the teaser for it on the big screen here at CinemaCon.
The first thing that I thought of, going off what Ann said about it's more than just the visuals, it's the full experience, the music and everything, was at the beginning of I believe it was before the Disney panel, maybe it was the one earlier this morning. Dolby did a whole thing about their laser projection, their Atmos Town, and the first thing I thought was, you love the Dolby Cinema so much. I was like, that's the way to see this movie.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. I'll be seeing this in a Dolby Prime, like no doubt. Right? I don't know. I don't think you saw Tron Legacy, but as kind of somebody who's like looking at this as a clean slate, what did you think about the trailer?
This is the opinion. I was hoping you didn't ask me. The only reason why I haven't watched any of the series is because Tron Legacy was the movie that my ex cheated on me with. You know what I mean? Like, she took another dude to go see that movie. So I've never seen it.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, but no, you know what? It wasn't meant to be.
So do you get
Yeah, like
when you see Jeff Bridges anywhere, do you get the twitch?
And anytime I see Tron anywhere, I'm like, I'm not watching it. I mean, but I will say I do like the red color, because I do know, because we've reported on Tron Legacy before on the show.
Yeah.
They were with a cyan or like a greenish sort of bluish tint. This red is jarring, and the laser show they put on.
Oh, it was awesome.
Before it seems like it would be my thing. It seems like a 4DX in the motorcycle thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know yet. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. So that was Tron Ares. Again, the color me shocked that it looked as good as it did. I'll be honest, I think we talked about on the show like almost a year ago when there was some set footage got out, and it's like we saw Jared Leto in the streets. I'm like, is this another thing where they're bringing it to the real world? Another movie like Smurfs are doing. And I'm like,
man, let it go, man.
Masters of the Universe and whatever. But now that I've seen this, I'm like, they're totally doing the right thing. This is going to be awesome. Anyway, all right. What was the next thing they talked about?
So then we saw The Amateur, which I know that's just coming out next
week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they showed an extended thing of The Amateur, Rami Malek, Lawrence Fishburne. Look, we've been looking forward to that. They showed us the first big previews of this last year at CinemaCon, and now it's coming out. So there wasn't a lot for them to talk about. They've already talked about it. It's now out. It's coming out.
Yeah.
A little bit of extended stuff. Yeah.
It looks great, though.
It just like Ann and I were like in line to walking into the Disney presentation. She's like, they're doing advanced screenings this Saturday. And we're like, book it, let's do it. And so we got to go see it this Saturday.
I will say they did want a Final Destination. That is one of the things, that pool thing.
Oh yeah.
That is one of those things where I was like, every time I see one on a building, I'm like, what happens if there's an earthquake? That's so terrifying. Yeah, that's a real pool. So
London.
It was great to see that. I probably won't see this. It's just not my sort of genre. But maybe, who knows?
They have those around though. But here's the thing: I remember talking to somebody, and they said the actual those pools. Here's the funny thing about them is, if a small piece of a plane fell from the sky, that pool would be the last thing to break.
Right.
That it is the strongest part. That and the elevator shaft.
Although I gotta say,
parts.
when they showed this new trailer, you could actually see the guy in the pool go down.
Yeah.
Because the screen was so big.
That wasn't in the other footage.
I was like, that looks great.
And gruesome. And really gruesome.
Yeah.
So he landed on some sharks.
Oh yeah, it was great.
So that's coming out this week. So that was what they showed. Not much to talk about. The movie's had its marketing campaign. It's coming out next week. So, and I'm excited for it.
Is that in your nightmares, Cody? Like swimming in a pool, like glass pool that then shatters and you're falling?
Have you often swim in pools that are hovered 1,000 feet above the ground?
Skyscraper pool or whatever?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. Not one that high, but yeah, I've been in a few with the overlook and whatnot. It just bothered me when he's trying to swim away. I'm like, this guy's not a swimmer. It kills me in movies when like someone's in the pool and it's like a part of their routine. They're a big businessman and like I'm like, nah, that doesn't look good.
Like Cody's like, yeah.
There we go. That's what
Rami Malek.
I was like, this guy's dead.
Rami Malek is lucky that wasn't me, because I would have got out of that pool. I would have made it out of the pool.
We might need a direct dial to Cody, so every time we see a trailer and there's someone swimming, we have to have him on a speed dial. Cody,
Did you see this trailer?
I mean, you can really tell. Just as I'm sure anyone that has spent their entire life getting expert, like professionally trained, like when you're a professional at something, just like the army guys that see the army movies and they notice all the little imperfections of the way they're holding and carrying their guns.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing.
But there's nothing this guy could have done.
Nah, dude, you're
He's swimming probably like that because he's gay. Yeah,
If
okay.
he knew how to swim faster, maybe.
Yeah, I think Cody would have got out of the pool.
Yeah,
Cody
that's
would have
true.
made it to the end.
the moment that thing cracked, dude. What do you get out of there?
All right, what's next?
Predator Badlands coming out
Oh.
November 7th.
Okay, look, I had no idea they had stuff that was ready to be shown. So they brought out Elle Fanning because she's the human star of the movie. And they're like, what happens if the Predator's the good guy? I'm like, I don't know if I love the sounds of that. But then they set up, it's on a different world. And it's like he plays whoever the Predator, this Predator is a young Predator who's kind of been outcast by his clan. And now he's got to fight to survive on this world. And I thought, okay. But again, I thought they can't show us footage because they don't have anything ready, do they? Oh, they did. And you know what? Sign me up.
Sign me up.
Oh, really?
I liked what I saw. And I mean, it's a real man versus nature, in this case, a predator versus nature kind of thing. But there's also predator on predator violence and stuff like that. And listen, again, I don't know if the movie's going to be any good. Prey was awesome. It's the same director doing this one now. And the design of our hero was great.
It's
Great. Loved
I
it.
really liked it. What did you think about the whole thing?
I loved it. I was so excited that they were going to show it to us. I was like, really? But Romulus did well, so it made sense. And I thought it looked terrific.
By the way, just to clear up some confusion I see in the live shot, no, Elle Fanning is not the Predator. Elle Fanning,
Although I'd watch the hell out of that.
I'd watch that too. But Elle Fanning is not the Predator. She's another character, and then you have the Predator character.
If that was her in what we saw, she looks a little different from how she normally is in the.
Well, no, she looks like an android.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She looks like
right,
an android
actually.
in that thing, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I've just started liking the Predator series, so I'm used to the big man. Yeah, I told you my sci-fi kicked in later in life. So after seeing Prey, so now seeing a young little Predator
What's
guy.
that? What is that? Is that like a physiological
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, it's a disease. Seeing the little Predator guy the whole time because
You showed his hand like the guy was short.
no.
It's a huge
No.
thing. A little Predator guy.
Yeah. So I didn't have my glasses on, and until he turned around and I saw the Predator mouth, I was like, "Oh crap, that's a teenage Predator."
Dude, we saw predators fighting with swords.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And
Dude, it
people
was
again are
awesome.
asking, what time period is this? It's no time period. It's on an alien world.
Yeah.
Dystopia or something.
It could have been
It had
1,000
like
years
swoop
ago.
bikes from Star Wars too. It was dope.
Yeah, it looked again, and that scene where then we see his face, and he does the classic
Yeah,
with
it was
the
a small
mouths.
cute little mouth.
Shoot, little mouth.
It was great.
I thought it looked good. So again, this is now right on my radar. Very excited about it. Looks great. What's the name of it again?
Badlands.
Badlands. Predator Badlands. It looks great. Keep your eyes out. They might drop the trailer today. I'm not really sure, but if they do, go check it out because it looks really good. All right. What's next?
Badlands High.
Badlands High.
Okay, the next movie was
Badlands Babysitter Club.
Saved by the Badlands.
Saved by the Badlands.
All right. Let's go.
next movie was Deliver Me from Nowhere. The Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, the Bruce Springsteen. Okay, first off, bad title.
Extremely bad title.
Yeah, really bad title. But that aside, it's being played. The boss is being played by Jeremy Allen White. Who it's funny because
Who we saw gambling?
Well, yeah. So Ray and I come back to the room in between panels to do some work, and I get this text from Anne. I'm standing beside Jeremy Allen White. I'm like, what?
Where?
And I'm like, wait. She goes, he's at one of the tables, and I'm standing here. I'm like, go make friends with him. And she texts me, hall pass. It's like, well,
Hold it.
I would ask for it too, I suppose. So clearly, we knew that Jeremy Allen White would be coming out on stage. And sure enough, he came out on stage with the guy from Succession,
Yeah, Jeremy Strong.
who was
Jeremy.
just nominated for an Oscar. So they come out, and it's really a story about Bruce and his manager and their incredible relationship, which is so nice to see something like that after watching Elvis. and like this real horrible toxic relationship between a music star and the manager. This one looks really wholesome, really good. And look, it very feels a lot like they're capitalizing on a Complete Unknown's success a little bit, and maybe that's true. But it looks like a really good movie.
It does, and I like the fact that it leads up to the recording of his album Nebraska.
Right.
I thought it was I like that it's that specific time.
And then when they get to the point in the trailer where they actually show Jeremy Allen White not just acting like Bruce Springsteen, but being on stage and singing "Baby We Were Born to Run,"
Yeah.
I'm like,
Good.
he's nailing all of Springsteen's moves. Like the way when he hits his hard notes, he lowers his shoulders and tilts his head up, like that very classic Bruce Springsteen stuff. So I gotta say, I'm not a big musical biopic guy normally. This is one I'm going to be interested.
Yeah, it looked good.
Didn't he play Carrie Von Erich in the
I can't
Claw?
remember which Von Erich he played.
But he played that wrestler very well.
Yeah, he's a terrific actor, terrific performer. So Deliver Us from Nowhere is the name of the movie.
Deliver Me from
Can-
Nowhere.
can I
Deliver Me. Hopefully they'll change the title.
Can we go real quick? Just a real fun question. If you heard that title, what would you think the movie was about? I say Pizza Hut.
Oh, I think it sounds like a
Aliens.
exorcism kind of movie.
Yeah,
Oh.
Some
yeah,
supernatural exorcism movie. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, guys.
And Ray thought it was Pizza Hut.
Not really fun with you guys.
Okay.
Exorcism.
All right. What's next?
Okay, the next movie is called Ella McKay. Comes out
Oh!
September 19th.
Directed, I haven't said this in a while, by Alan Brooks.
James L. Brooks.
James L. Brooks, I mean. I that's not been said in a while. His movie Newsroom is broadcast news. So I keep going back to the Jeff Daniels Newsroom thing about broadcast news that he did with the late great William Hurt.
Oh, Holly Hunter.
Yeah, that
Albert Brooks.
Guys, it's an older film. If you've never seen broadcast news, watch broadcast news. It's a wonderful film, but it's a new one by him. And it's got Jamie Lee Curtis again, so she came out again. And it's got quite a cast, actually. Kumail Nanjiani and a bunch of people.
It's got Emma from Sex Education, the Netflix series.
Oh, is that who she is?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know I didn't recognize her. She's got a very Anne Hathaway vibe to her.
Yeah.
Like a very strong Anne Hathaway vibe. But so the basic premise of the movie is she's a 30-something-year-old woman in politics with a very kind of crazy family situation. Her aunt is Jamie Lee Curtis. Her dad is Woody Harrelson, who she has a totally broken relationship with. And it really felt like a Brooks movie. It did. And I mean that in all the right ways. So it wasn't a big splashy presentation for the film or anything like that. But I'm definitely going to go see this film because I love his previous work and this looked really good.
Yeah, I mean, he made Terms of Endearment and the Jack Nicholson movie.
As Good as It Gets?
As Good as It Gets.
Yeah, which is brilliant.
That's his best movie.
It's so good.
The thing about the trailer that I thought, though, it felt like I was watching a trailer from the early 90s and it felt out of time.
Yes.
And it made me think like I wanted to see the movie. I don't think the trailer is going to necessarily get people to want to go see it if they don't know who James L. Brooks is. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, this is the first time I'm really going to deviate from you guys. I thought it looked really bad.
Yeah.
Really?
And I love everyone in it, especially Woody Harrelson. And like I said, As Good as It Gets is killer. And I felt like it felt like a made-for-TV movie, like a bad Hallmark movie.
I don't disagree with you.
I was like, who's going to get excited about this? Sorry.
I'll be there.
I don't know. I don't think, but I don't think you're wrong because nobody knows. I mean, James L. Brooks is also revered in the TV world because his sitcom work is legendary.
Yeah.
And I think that I think you're right about that. When I was trying to be kind when I said early 90s, I was watching this trailer and I was waiting for it to ignite. I was
That's
waiting
a great
for
point. Yeah.
I was watching these scenes and I know it's James L. Brooks, but there was nothing. Can you name a gag in that trailer you liked?
Well, the stuff with
Other
the
than
dad.
Woody Harrelson.
So Woody
Yeah,
Harrelson. I
that
also
was-
really like the whole thing about the scene between her and Jamie Lee Curtis. She goes, "I think you need to scream," and like when she says the line, "I can't," she says, "Why not?" Because I'm afraid I won't be able to stop.
Well, see, then you
And I
then
really
you remember
like-
that. That's
yeah.
good. So maybe, but I just felt like it was just.
I felt more emotion out of you repeating that line than I felt when I watched the scene. I was not feeling it. By the way, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. Like,
Well,
But then
but
he
here's
got
what
an
you're-
award, which was nice.
Yeah. But I would say the part about it that you're definitely not wrong is that this isn't going to be a $400 million movie.
Right.
Like they're hoping this will be a $175 million movie. If they make that, they're going to be super happy. This is not going to have a big, wide appeal to a lot of people.
No.
But because I love this guy's work, I will be there.
Yeah, I will too.
All right, what's next?
I'm excited for the next one too. It's called The Roses. Comes out August 29th with Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman.
Who, by the way, Olivia Colman, who very quietly, over the past 10 years, has gotten into the greatest actress of all time conversation, as far as I'm concerned.
For sure.
I'm not saying she is the greatest actress of all time, but I think, like, what, 2 or 3 Best Actress nominations lately? She's quietly gotten herself, I believe, into the conversation.
Yeah.
She's magnificent. Okay, this is another one of the situations when they said they were doing another version of War of the Roses, and this was just called The Roses.
And not the historical event, but
Yeah,
the
no.
actual movie, The War
Yeah.
of the Roses, with
That-
Danny DeVito.
And Michael Douglas
Yeah.
and Kathleen Turner. I thought, okay, sure, go do that. Who cares? This might surprise you. I think this rivals the Naked Gun thing for the funniest thing I've seen all week.
Yeah.
It rivals the Naked Gun thing. It was so funny.
It has a line of dialogue.
Which one
when
was it
Olivia
again?
Colman says,
Oh my God!
I've had his cock in me and I couldn't feel it either.
Yeah, like no,
It
the
starts with that. Yeah, there's a setup.
there's a
There is-
setup line where
Here there is.
oh yeah, the one guy, I guess he works for Olivia Colman. She goes, you know, sometimes she's angry at me and I can't even tell. And then she says, well, sometimes he fucks me and I can't even tell. or no, you know what the other great line was? Who's the girl from Saturday Night Live that does the alien sketches?
Kate
Kate
McKinnon.
McKinnon.
Oh God, that was so funny.
So her and I guess her husband are standing there talking to Benedict Cumberbatch, who's married to Olivia Colman in the movie. And I guess he's having some troubles in his life right now. Maybe he's lost his job. And the husband says to Benedict, you know, if you need somebody to talk to, and then Kate McKinnon goes, or a thigh to lean your head on. And then, oh no, we're kidding. And the husband turns away and she just lips to him, I will fuck you. I'm like, oh my God. And Olivia Colman just goes like batshit crazy in this thing. I'm telling you what, this was a presentation that totally changed my compass on this movie. I thought this was not a great idea. I didn't care about a War of the Roses, but keep your guys, keep your eyes open on this one. The Roses is
The
called.
Roses.
What did you think about
It
it?
looks funny. I don't love it as much as you guys, but it
Oh,
does. And that
I
moment was
loved it.
great. The rest of the trailer, I liked. I did not enjoy as much as you guys, but it moved for me. I guess this one moved the needle. Like
Yeah.
I'll go see it. It's a win.
When
Yeah.
the therapist says to them, I don't think your problems can be rectified. And they both look at her like, are you allowed to say that to us? Like, you're just supposed to tell us we can fix our problems. Anyway, I thought it looked great. What did you think about
Well,
it?
I
I could tell right away. This was a movie that's right up your alley,
loved it
actually.
so much. It's a little more extreme than I expected in
Yeah.
terms of their interaction in the trailer. It went way beyond the spectrum of what I thought their arguments were going to be. I loved it. I mean, a
Has
lot of the
Benedict
banter is
Cumberbatch-
like us.
Has he done a comedy?
Besides being the voice of the Grinch, that's a good
That
question.
doesn't count.
No,
Great movie, but
What's that?
I said that's a great.
Yeah,
his Grinch is great.
I don't know that counts.
No, I think he's. I mean, I don't know. Nothing stands out.
I-
He's done comedy. He's funny. He's a funny guy.
He's funny. He's really funny.
I know War of the Roses, the original one, Mom and Dad love that movie, but I don't remember if the physical abuse towards each other, not in the bad way, but like, throwing stuff at
Oh
each
yeah,
other.
yeah.
I don't know if it was this was funny, the physical stuff that they did to each other, like him throwing something, I think it hit her in the head.
Yeah.
Just her
So
facial
orange,
reaction.
orange.
It was just so like, it was the physical abuse that that's funny to me. Like
I really love right near the end too. She's literally pulls out a gun.
Oh, that's
it's like this is escalating. She's like, you think? And like, oh God, I love it. So anyway, that was The Roses. Keep your guys' eyes open for it. All right, what was up next?
Okay, the next movie. Okay, so we did see Kevin Feige. He just mentioned I'm on set of Doomsday.
Yeah, he didn't come out. He was just up on the screen.
Yeah.
Starting
He said,
principal
I'm currently on set
photography.
of Doomsday, getting ready to start
He
shooting.
said one important thing that I gotta apologize. I was completely wrong. Sorry to you guys. You guys were completely right. He said we announced some of the cast for Doomsday.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did specify that.
I
Yeah.
was fighting for my life, like saying that's it. There's no more cast.
Well, that's why I kept saying, like,
Yeah.
they very well could add more names and stuff like that. So anyway,
Okay, so then obviously we're going into the Marvel
The Marvel
aspect
Cinematic
of
Universe.
the presentation. So we go into Thunderbolts.
all right. So first of all, they start off with a pretty funny little gag where the studio guys out there goes, we thought we brought the Thunderbolts cast here, and but they're not back in the green room. So what's going on? And then walking down the aisle from amongst the crowd is like the cast of Thunderbolts, but they have what's Quaid's
Wyatt Russell.
Russell's Wyatt Russell. They're like trying to kind of carry him. He's got a shirt open, and it's like we couldn't get him away from the tables. And he's actually all drunk. I lost $37,000 and all this kind of stuff. So then the cast of Thunderbolts comes up on stage, minus Sebastian Stan, who I think is working on something right now, probably Doomsday. So he was not there, and so they talked about it, and it was great. And then they showed us some stuff that we had not seen before, and they mixed it in with some stuff that we have seen before, but they particularly show us this extended scene where they're all in this truck, and Bucky, and I can already tell that Bucky and Red Guardian are going to have like the best chemistry. I already love it. So they're talking, what type of super soldier serum did you take? Oh, I don't know, this kind. Oh, that's a good type. I had the Russian knockoff or whatever of it. Anyways, that was great. And they drive through the door of this building where there's like 20 guards, and all the Thunderbolts jump out, and there's this great fight sequence where they're all taking down these guards. And it ends with Elaine's voice, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, coming over the speaker saying, I left the door unlocked. You can just take the elevator up. Like, so clearly they're together. And then they go up, and they're in the old Avengers Tower.
Yeah.
And that's when they kind of ominously introduce Sentry. Just with feet coming down the stairs, and they just kind of left it at that. Then they cut that in with some stuff that we had seen. Listen, guys, I've been saying this for a while. Ever since they announced the cast lineup of Thunderbolts, and as we've seen the first bits of footage and the first trailer, and now this, I've been saying this for a while. I am much more excited about Thunderbolts than I am for Fantastic Four, and I'm excited about Fantastic Four. Don't misinterpret me. I am, but this is the Marvel movie this year that I'm excited about. And I mean, whether it'll be good or terrible, I'm not sure, but I've loved everything I've seen out of Thunderbolts. And this new fight scene, and by the way, seeing Ghost using kind of her abilities to fight in there as well. And then like Bucky or Red Guardian just pushing a guy's face against the metal and running his face across. And Bucky just beating the shit out of people, and Yelena doing her thing. And it was great. I
and
love it.
Taskmaster waking up late, I guess, apparently, because she wasn't a part of that
Yeah,
fight.
she's probably already dead by
Yeah.
that point.
I was so looking forward to seeing a lot more than we were shown. That when it ended right where his footsteps come down, I literally jolted, and I was like, no, I wanted
Show
more.
more.
Just show his face, show his suit. I get it, but man, I really did want to see
Oh yeah,
more.
and the way they introduced it was really good too, because the Thunderbolts all went there to get Valentina. They went to get her because, as we saw in the other trailer, she set them up to kill each other. Then they figured it out, drove to get her, and they're all saying, "You're like, cut your shit, Valentina. We're here. We're taking you down." She goes, "I'm not alone."
Yeah.
And then the footsteps coming down is like, ah. Anyway, I loved what I saw there.
She ripped a piece of everyone around there, though. She kind of roasted all of them.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
what did she call?
Yeah.
Like the
What would she call Walker again?
Captain America.
Oh, it was like
Junior
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 Varsity
Varsity
Captain America.
If you guys something to say, Junior Varsity Captain America. Oh, this is pretty funny. Anyway, what did you think about
My
that?
favorite was just the interactions between the Thunderbolts themselves.
Yeah.
Like Yelena and US Agent's little conversation we saw was so funny. Where she's like, "Is that your hat?" And he's like, "It's my helmet. Do you like it?" She goes, "Do you like it?"
Do you like it? No. But then she calls it a hat. Do you like your hat? It's like,
That was great.
It was so
great.
subtle and just
And
really
if we
great.
get a lot of that, and it seems like we're going to, it's going to be a really fun movie.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, I can't wait to see this movie. I don't want to see any more of it.
Yeah.
I want to see
Okay,
the
yeah.
whole movie, you know,
I agree.
and that's the thing because they've been showing us kind of the same stuff, and I which I like that we
Until
don't know.
today.
Yeah, I mean, but they just it was more of the same, but it was all good. It's everything about that movie looks appealing to me. It comes out in a month. It looks
That's so
great.
weird to think about, right? It's only a month away.
I mean, it's
now.
only a month before we're getting Mission Impossible in 45 days.
Also,
So
let's point out
it looks really, really good.
that we've been getting swag after, but no Thunderbolts shirt. But we got the Thunderbolts box that they gave us.
I know.
This is just a side note.
I just realized, that Wheaties box was
The
great
Wheaties
swag.
box.
Yeah.
Good
I put
swag.
up a picture of that on my Instagram. If any of you guys want to go see that, they gave us this. I thought the box was going to be full of popcorn, but instead it was just a single bag of the popcorn we've already been getting.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's fine. We got the box. Anyway, what did you think about the Thunderbolt stuff?
Oh, I thought it was fun. I'm kind of there with Rob though. Like I'm just ready to see the full movie
Yeah.
at this point. You know,
Yeah.
the trailer again, it's not going to move the needle because I already know I'm going to go see it. But it was funny. It was really funny.
I wish they showed the whole thing.
Florida.
Yeah.
I came into Cinemacon. Well, by the way, I just want to point out, this is the first year in as long as I can remember that there's only been one full screening.
Mhm.
I'm not going to lie. I am kind of disappointed by that.
I'm definitely disappointed.
I mean, I knew it was a slim chance that we'd get Superman or anything like that. But I at minimum, I thought for sure they'd show Lilo and Stitch. I thought for sure they'd show the fact that there was only one full screening, and that's fine. The panels have been great, and that's everything too. But the fact that we only got one full screening, again, this is the first year in at least 10-something years I remember there only being one screening. So I'm a little bit let down by that.
And the second longest thing we watched was Project Hail Mary. That was like the second.
Yeah.
Well, they
if you
showed
look at
like
duration.
15 minutes
So-
there, whatever
so, yeah.
that was.
And I'll
little
tell you,
disappointing.
one of the highlights was definitely Florence Pugh in the flesh.
That is my
Oh, yeah.
celebrity
Badass.
crush. Don't ever say anything about her.
Dude, I love her so much.
No,
I
you
even-
can't.
Well, actually, the first thing I said to Anne, because she came out in this dress, right? Short dress.
Oh, yes, she
But I
did.
said, I'm like, but one of the things I was really taken aback by is, listen, Florence Pugh's no joke. I'm like,
She's
Anne,
muscular.
look at her thighs.
Yeah.
So
I lean over to Anne, like, look at her
I
thighs. They're
love
like,
her. And then I
muscular.
saw this National Geographic thing where they go into your history of your family and how it's connected to food. I was watching it when you
yep,
were-
I remember you watching that.
Did they do her?
They did one with her.
She's
Yep.
Wonderful. She's comes from the best family. She's a cook, which will probably make you fall in love with her even more. And she's just
And then they
funny.
go and they
She's
make-
so vibrant.
Yeah.
and
So the
Yeah.
host of the
awesome.
show takes the subject, and this one was Florence Pugh, through their family lineage. Just like,
History.
and they actually, and this was the first
It's one of the
person named
Fab
Florence
Five
Pugh.
from Queer Eye.
They found
Yes,
another Florence
exactly.
Pugh
It's-
that was
it's great.
directly
I
in her
love it.
family from 100 years earlier and what
Yeah.
happened to her and all that kind of stuff. So then they took recipes from that era and then went to her family's house and they cooked this meal with their family, she is a delight.
Yeah.
And let me make it clear. No offense to anyone who was affected by the event, but Oppenheimer is my second favorite film because of her. And you know why.
Okay.
Right there with you, buddy.
Anyway, getting back to Thunderbolts, overall, looks great. I am, like Rob said too, I'm just ready for the movie. I'm ready for it at this point. I cannot wait. And I honestly, I just get the sense from Disney that they are oozing confidence in this movie. Like everything they've done, I just feel they just ooze confidence in this. So hopefully it'll turn out great, not be another Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. All right, what was next?
The next movie was Fantastic Four: First Steps.
Okay. Kind of the same thing as Thunderbolts.
got a lot.
They showed us a bunch of stuff that we hadn't seen before and then intercut with some stuff that we had seen before. We got a little bit more context. First of all, everybody's theory that we're going to get Franklin Richards. Well, yeah, I mean, they show a scene where she comes in and announces to the family that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
So now where that is in the movie, I don't know. And then, you see Reed Richards doing a bunch of stuff. And then our Silver Surfer arrives and says, "Are you the guardians of this world?" And like, yeah. And she's like, "Your planet has been marked for death."
Yeah.
And then you get a bunch of Galactus kind of behind the head silhouette sort of thing. So they're still kind of keeping the full Galactus behind
Would it
a
be
little
great
bit.
if William Shatner was the face of Galactus?
No, it would not. Hey, listen, I love good Canadian kid William Shatner, but no, that would not be great.
Or what if that's just a shot of the float at the Macy's Day Parade?
It's just a big Galactus going around. It's like, and like then people like clearly they are such big heroes on this world, whatever world this is that the Fantastic Four takes place in. And then I just remember like after they reference all the Galactus stuff, like your world has been marked for death and all this kind of stuff, like just an average citizen like turning to Reed Richards saying, "Are we safe?" And just Reed Richards like, "I don't know." It's like, oh, and this world is not used to hearing that from the Fantastic
And
Four.
all that seems, I bet all that's from like the first third of the movie.
Yeah, it could be.
All of this,
Yeah.
because it doesn't tell you where it's going. And I think that's another thing. These trailers, it used to be like the way they've done, the Marvel did their trailers, when you were approaching the release date, you would get something that would give you more information about what the movie's actually about.
Right.
This, again, I don't want to see another Fantastic Four trailer.
Yeah.
I don't want to see
You
another.
don't. Once again, I'll reiterate this whole trailer thing is just creepy to me. But the aesthetic, I love the aesthetic.
Oh, I
of
do
this
too.
film.
By the way, and we ought to be, we're just throwing the term trailer around a lot.
Right.
This was not a
Yeah,
trailer.
like the
Yeah,
footage,
it was-
like a first look or like second
Yeah.
look or third look footage, whatever. Tell me that shot with the thing, with
Running
the
down the
chains,
street?
with the chains.
Oh,
Pulling the boat
pulling
out
that
of the
boat.
ocean. That was dope.
Because that was worrisome because his skin would get moist if it looked right because he's a rock, right?
Yeah.
That looked amazing.
I love that.
Yeah,
That was
that
so
was
cool.
And
great.
for those who know what we're talking about, like there's this shot where it's like, and it's not, we're not talking about a tugboat. We're talking about an oil hauler.
Yeah.
Like one of the giant oil hauler ships. And Thing is like got this giant chain pulling the ship along. Oh, it looked
It was
so
cool.
good.
It looked great.
Oh, it looked great.
I love that.
And you know what? I thought the surfer looked good.
Dude,
Oh, she did. She looked great.
She looked great.
that was the best visual effects shot that we've seen probably all week. It looked awesome.
Yeah.
Even just the reflections off of the side. I mean,
Yeah, it was
that's
really
not an
cool.
easy thing to pull off, and like that metallic-y color, very, very difficult.
Yeah,
It
it's really
looked
good.
Looked
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, so I mean, whether or not it ends up being good, don't know. But this first look we got definitely looked good.
So we're all in on this. We don't need to see any more, right?
No, I want to see
We're
the
all-
movie. Show me the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, but I mean, obviously, we still got to get the main trailer that hasn't come yet. That will probably give us more of the context of the film. That's probably going to come. Well, I mean,
You're
often
right.
this room doesn't, but
Yeah.
the 95% of film fans do, and so we'll probably get that soon. So yeah, I thought what they showed us was really good. It was great.
Yeah.
All right. Then I think that led us into the final thing they did, right? Oh no, that was not Avatar yet.
No, we're
Right.
on Pixar.
Oh, that's right, Pixar. Okay,
No.
all right.
Okay, the next movie was Elio, which comes out on June 20th.
You know what? Elio has not looked exciting to me.
Oh.
I did not love the first trailer. I thought it was okay. I thought it was cute. Just a lot of weird decisions about character design and creatures, and because I don't think they look cute. I don't think they just look weird and all that kind of stuff. This was the best thing I've seen from it.
Oh
yet.
wow, really?
Yeah. This was the best thing I think I saw from it. This was finally the trailer that's made me go, all right, I'm gonna go see this. Like there was enough. There was some heart in it, and it won me again. I'm not gonna pretend like it's one of my most anticipated movies of the year, but I've gone to like, yes, I definitely am gonna make sure I book off the night when it opens, and we're gonna go see it night one, and we're gonna go check.
So from where you were, it's changed from where you are
for the
now.
better. Yeah, move
Which
the
is
needle.
it's great. That's what Cinemacon is about, to get the needle going, right? For me, the very first thing I said in my head when it stopped was, this is not it. The space thing, I just think why did they show this particular scene? I love the little alien when they meet, but everything before, it felt long, just long drawn out, like just felt like where they were floating, there was nothing behind them. Like I want some visuals. If you're going to alien thing, it just felt all like still in pre-production to me for some reason in some parts.
Man, I don't know what you saw. I totally disagree.
You liked it?
Yeah, like okay, I'm not saying it's going to be as good as Coco, but the one of the best things about Coco was how they really explored the afterlife, and it was colorful and vibrant and beautiful. And this is them kind of doing that in an intergalactic outworld society council of different aliens coming together for meet. And it was, I thought it was a different color palette, but I thought it was interesting and unique. And you know what? I don't like 3D. I can't tell you the last 3D movie I saw.
I hate
but
3D.
the 3D we saw today, I was like, I kind of enjoyed this.
Okay.
I was
gotta tell you,
surprised.
Yeah,
I was watching this trailer. I fell asleep
I heard you.
during the trailer. I fell asleep I'm watching this. I'm like, why all of a sudden it felt like I put on the 3D glasses.
Oh my god.
And I literally fell asleep. So I'm watching the Elio, and I'm watching Elio look up, and I'm seeing all these aliens, and I fell asleep. Totally fell asleep. I was like,
Perfect.
and I woke myself up when Elio got into the mouth of the creature.
Which we had
Well,
seen that shot before
It was
already.
like end of it.
But I literally fell asleep. Like I don't know what that says. I watched this trailer, and it was almost as if someone punched me in the face.
Oh god.
I was really enjoying everything. I just completely fell asleep
I will say
in the middle of this trailer or whatever they were showing us.
my hope in this movie is this friendship between the alien and the kid. It feels like they're gonna learn a lot from each other, start appreciating what they have from each other, and I think
Well,
that's
that's
gonna
clearly the main. part of the
that's gonna
movie,
save
yeah.
this movie.
I mean, I don't know how long what we saw was long, but
Dude, it was 7-8 minutes.
Seven-
whatever it was,
7 minutes,
I
yeah.
was watching this and I was like, oh, cool 3D. You know, I'm like, the 3D is really good. And I was just out and I woke myself up snoring just with a huge explosion.
The one thing I didn't get the emotional tug and heart pull from what we usually get out of Pixar. I kind of felt like Luca was like a mid-level Pixar film that was good and had a bit of heart, but like nothing like intense. And that's kind of the feeling I got in terms of people are asking like, what's your feelings of how would you rank just what you saw on the Pixar scale of excellence?
You know what's
It's with
funny?
Luca.
To your point, they had Zoe Saldana.
yeah.
Sorry, I've learned recently we've been mispronouncing your name for it. It's
Saldana.
Saldana.
Sorry.
She came out on stage. She's the only one from the voice cast to come out on stage and introduce the film, and they didn't show her character.
Right.
In the previous, it was. I just found it. What's that?
Wasn't that the?
Yeah. She was in some of the shots,
She's the
but
very beginning.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, she's
Yeah.
the aunt that's raising the
And
Yeah,
that's
but what did she do in the trip?
that's what
They were having the conversation in her office or something.
right.
did they?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
brief. It was brief.
Right.
I was awake. I guess maybe I blinked.
I
that
will.
time?
You know what? There's another criticism I would give to this movie. I feel they need to work on their alien designs.
Yeah, I mentioned that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I mean,
Wow,
because
you already
there-
sleeping through this thing?
there was a book. There's a book that came out. I don't know, 40 years ago. There's an artist named Wayne Barlow, and Wayne Barlow went to all these literary science fiction novels, and he painted visions of what he thought the aliens in various science fiction novels look like. And the book was called Barlow's Guide to Extraterrestrials, and it's really cool. And that his design work. It seems to me that everything Pixar does that involves aliens looks the same. Like it almost looked like I was watching A Bug's Life, but in space.
Yeah, I just wanted to include one thing. That punch in the gut you're looking for is going to come from how do we pronounce her name now? Zoe Saldana. Saldana. That relationship is going to be the punch of the gut. That's why I think they're saving it. Because it's she loves they pointed out right in the beginning, I love my nephew.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love my nephew.
You can say that. You got to
Right,
show
right.
it. They got to show it.
Yeah, John's right about that. Yeah.
All right. So that was Elio. What was next?
The next film was Zootopia 2, coming out in November.
They showed a scene from the movie. Well, they showed two, but one of the scenes they showed they'd already released online before. They showed a scene from the movie where now you've got the fox and the rabbit who are partners, and I guess they're not getting along so well, so they get sent to partner therapy.
That was pretty funny.
It was funny. I like Zootopia is one of the least anticipated movies for me for Pixar. I like the first Zootopia. Not super excited about this. That's
I
just
love
me.
the first Zootopia.
I did too.
Most people do. Like
Yeah, I
honestly,
loved
most
it.
people do. But I gotta tell you, that scene they showed, the therapy scene, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
And the voice is the
And Ki-Hugh Kwan came out. Ki-Hugh Kwan came
Oh,
out.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
the voice of the
Therapist.
snake.
Abbott Elementary
Quinta?
woman. Yes.
And the walrus. The walrus.
Oh, the walrus is
Oh
funny.
my god. Give me a stuffed animal of that guy right now. That's it.
Yeah. So so again, it's a quick scene they showed us, had maybe about 2 minutes long, but it was good.
And they did do like the little spoofs off of the Cinemacon.
Yeah, but that's not in the
Yeah.
movie or anything like that.
Right.
That was, no, that did you notice that didn't get any laughs
Yeah.
from the audience anyway? All right. What was after Zootopia?
Now it's the end.
Okay. Then they came to the Steve Jobs one more thing. Avatar Fire and Ash. Cinemacon was the first place they showed actual footage for Avatar The Way of Water. I suspected it would be the same this year, and they did it. They showed us about 5 minutes
No, dude, it was longer than
You
that.
think it was longer
Yeah, it
than
was longer
that?
than that.
Okay,
for
maybe
sure.
5-10 minutes, something like that. I don't know how, like, when you look at the first Avatar, love or hate the movie, it's visually stunning. You got to acknowledge, even if you don't like the movie, it's visually stunning. You go back and you look at the first Avatar and you think, I don't know how you advance visual effects any more than this. It just looks so too perfect. And then The Way of Water comes out and it's more stunning. And then you think, okay, well, now visually they've reached their apex. Then they showed
Bruh.
the stuff from here, and I'm like, how does James Cameron, good Canadian kid, how does he continue to do this?
I mean, they have the Navi equivalent of airships, you know,
Yeah,
floating through.
gorgeous.
And I mean, that's what, and we're looking at it in high frame rate 3D, HFR 3D. It's jaw dropping.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks so
Like-
good.
And then there's like the Mordor Navi now that don't believe in Iowa and they live in like the volcano.
Yeah,
Well,
so
they've-
there's other Navi. As we learn The Way of Water, there's more than just the one tribe, right?
No,
They're the Mordor Navi. They live in
Yeah.
they live in volcano
So
land.
there's this group, there's a sect of Navi that don't follow
Iowa.
The words were they have abandoned Iowa.
Yeah, they've abandoned Iowa.
and so they're kind of the only thing. So you see these Navi traveling in these gorgeous airships that Rob was mentioning.
So cool.
And then all of a sudden, over a hilltop, comes a bunch of flying creatures with black smoke coming out of the back, and Navi riding them, and they're like, Raiders! And this huge aerial combat thing starts to happen. It's like, oh my
I wanted
God.
one of the writers to say, looks like meat's back on the menu, boys. You know, and it was
So it's Navi on Navi violence going on, and they're
Yeah.
attacking them, and the kid is back in it wearing the air mask stuff.
and more Earth people show up.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they're never going to stop
But
because
the-
they need the unobtainium.
They need
It's very unattainable.
Look, like I was saying to you, I love the Avatar movies. I'm an unapologetic lover of the Avatar movies. But even this, I'm looking at it going, I hope they get into the Mordor Navi, and I hope they get into more of the ramifications of it all, because it's just looking at, there's only so much beauty I can look at. You know, I need take me to Mordor, show me something that isn't so beautiful. And this just was, I mean, what they, like you said, none of it's real.
It's
Like you're
all
looking at it,
CG
and it's like
animated,
they
yeah.
shot this on location.
Well, the kid's real.
It was so
Yeah, the kid, but
Other than that, yeah.
it's just unbelievable.
It was so cool seeing their aerial fleet. It was almost as if they were on like I don't know, giant Pirates of the Caribbean wooden ships through the ocean, but they're doing it through the sky, and it's being pulled by like a giant
Moth. I don't know what to call it.
stingray looking thing. And it just, my takeaway was he did it again.
Yeah.
He did it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did it again.
And I love the fact with this new group, like even when they're the two races were conversating with each other, there was a taller one in the store, the tall red one,
Yeah.
or the fire. I don't know what I love the way her look was like a look of disdain, sort of, when
The
she
female
saw her. You
Saruman.
can't really.
Yeah, what was her last? So she was the last shot of the footage. we
Your
saw. What-
goddess has no dominion.
That was
here.
Yeah.
awesome.
That was
So
and I'm
cool.
like, that is this, until I know her name, she's Saruman lady to me.
Saruman.
Saruman lady.
Well,
Yeah,
when she,
there you go.
your goddess has no dominion
Your
here.
goddess has no dominion. Here.
I'm like, baby, you got dominion wherever you want. You tell me what to believe, I'll believe
And
it.
tell me if you
Yeah,
agree
man,
with this or
soulmate.
not. Tell me if you agree with this or not. But I get the sense, and it's probably appropriately so. I still think Sully and what is Zoe's character's name again?
Navi.
No.
Navi's the name of the race.
I forget.
Natiri.
Natiri, yeah, Natiri.
So-
Natiri.
I think they're definitely still prominent parts, but I feel like their kids are taking a little bit of a bigger role in this one than they did in
Yeah.
Way of Water.
Yeah, they're going to join the Ash people. They're going to live on an Ash ram with Saruman lady.
Oh wow.
I'm telling you. They're gonna
Imagine,
do
no,
it.
wait, what if one of his kids actually goes over and
That's
joins
what I was
man,
about to
she-
say.
she-
Someone will.
The female David Koresh, the kids going
female
to
David Carell?
or drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
style.
Kool-Aid.
Jonestown. Little Jonestown action.
I love the way your backup is Lord of the Rings. Every time you try to describe something you can't describe.
It's always Lord of the Rings.
What's
They're
what,
going
what
for
was the Scarface dude that turns into a Navi in from the original villain?
Slang? Stephen Lang?
Yeah, he looks like he's got a crazy character
Quaritch.
journey.
Quaritch.
Oh, that's okay.
That's the name of the character, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's back.
what we saw from him, I was like, yo, like we're getting
he
like
believes in Iowa now because he got resurrected.
I mean, one of the big criticisms of the original Avatar is that the story is just not original, and admittedly, it's not.
It's not.
But I think as this progresses with the family, it's
becoming its own original thing.
100%.
Yeah, and it's a riff on classical, tales. It's just, it's not Fern Gully in space. It is, but it's really not.
It's more Dances with Wolves in space.
Yeah.
Even James Cameron, I remember in an interview, this is back when the first one came, like just after the first one came out. He said, "Yeah, it's Dances with Wolves in space, but it's an archetype of a story that many movies do this and blah blah blah." But I mean, you're right. That's a good observation. And it's kind of evolved into its own original.
And the fact that there's a lot of characters and a lot of family members, there's a lot that can go wrong. There's a lot of story to be told there. There was way more story of the family in the second one, and we're going to get even more in this one.
The kid's going to run away and join a cult.
I was just going to throw in my name for that other group. Since Sermon Lady, I'm going to call them the Usos from now on.
The Usos.
And so I know the real name of that group, the Fire Group, right? They're the Fire.
Yeah.
Ash. They're the Ash group.
The Ash Group.
The Fire and Ash group.
The Saruman lady. That's all I could. That's what she's in my mind.
That's a great name.
All right, guys, and that was it for. I will say this about the Disney panel though. It wasn't the strong. I mean, I like a lot of the stuff they showed, but as a presentation, it wasn't all that great.
It was just perfunctory.
It was still better than the Sony one to me.
Yeah.
But I think it was the second worst. Also, again, even though Mandalorian is not coming out between now and the next Cinemacon, I figured since they had no Star Wars representation at all, I thought they would at least mention the Mandalorian movie, and they didn't even mention it. Like not so much as a reference or a peep. They didn't say a thing about it. That's not neither a good nor a bad sign. I'm just saying I'm really surprised they didn't.
I don't understand why Disney doesn't do an extended version. You know how they do an extended version of the Avatar movies? They add more footage and re-release it in theaters. Why don't they do an extended version of Rogue One and put more of the war footage that they cut out to tone down and release it on the heels of the end of Andor season 2?
They could.
Why don't they do that? I think I just came up with that idea now. You can have it, Disney. It's yours. But seriously, I mean, it seemed weird because they had, before we went in, at the beginning, they showed all the different
studios,
and it showed, Lucasfilm and nothing there.
Well, anyway, but I would say that too about that. I would say overall, best presentation of CinemaCon was the Universal presentation.
For sure.
They should have finished it. Yeah.
I mean, with just the whole orchestra thing combined with more showmanship and all that kind of stuff. I thought they just did the best job. Again, full marks to Paramount. They put on a great presentation. Lionsgate did a good job. Amazon MGM did
Very
a
impressed.
shockingly
Very impressed
good,
by Amazon
good
and their
presentation.
lineup of films.
So yeah, that was that. All right, guys. That down. The last thing we're going to do here at CinemaCon is go and take your live questions that you guys have been sending in. I shouldn't say live because a bunch of them from yesterday. You guys know we had to end last night's stream. Our time, 12:30 in the morning. East Coast time, it was like 3:30 in the morning. So we couldn't get around to the questions that got super chatted in. We are going to start off by answering those super chats and then roll into the super chats that got sent in today. Now, just so you know, I turned off the super chats earlier today because there's already a ton of them in there. So you're not able to send in any more super chats. But let's get over and start taking the questions that got sent in. We're starting with Cutter Hale, and we're going to try to get through these as quickly as we can. Cutter Hale writes, besides Final Reckoning, Nobody 2 is my most anticipated movie of 2025. The first one is a movie I recommend to any action movie fan. Need the trailer. Well, I don't know if they released what they showed us to the world. Nobody 2 looks great. You will not be disappointed. It looks so good. All right, Mighty Tank 1 writes, happy birthday to Best Picture Anora.
Thank you.
Of course, yesterday was Anne's birthday. All right. Next up, Alex Von Gollum writes, happy birthday, Dr. Ann. I love your project management
Thank
videos.
you.
I love your project management videos. They are quite, I lost it now. They are quite insightful. Greetings from Toronto.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate the support.
Yeah, so Anne is a world-renowned project management specialist, and she has a podcast that you can go and find, and they're all evergreen. It's called The Everyday PM, and she's great at it. So if you are into project management or would just like some project management principles for your life, go and find the Everyday PM.
Good luck. Thank you, Sonny.
All right, next up, we got Mighty Tank 1, who writes, did you get a chance to watch Daredevil yet? Nope.
Oh,
Nope. Still haven't had a single moment to watch the newest
Shoot.
Daredevil episode. We should do that later tonight,
Yes.
I think.
Studio.
All right.
Studio.
And there's a new episode of the studio too. Daniel Vasquez writes, is How to Train Your Dragon a better shot-by-shot remake than Psycho? Also make sure to tell us how Foxy Nick Wilde is Tomo at the Disney presentation. I don't know what that means. I will say this though, How to Train Your Dragon is not a shot-for-shot remake
Right.
of the animated one. It's just not. I know some of the stuff in the there are definitely, we said this yesterday, there are definitely moments that they recreate shot for shot, but it is not a shot for shot remake. But it is magnificent. It's absolutely wonderful. I think you're going to enjoy it. All right. Al writes, if the Dragons remake is successful, do you think Universal will make more live action remakes of their animated films, such as Shrek or Despicable Me?
Shrek.
The problem with Shrek is that it's all animated. Like there is no doing a live action version of it
Right.
because there's nothing to do live action with it.
Farquaad.
Despicable Me, I don't think I'd be interested in seeing that in live. I mean, the look of Gru is so Gru. I don't know that you could do it. And by the way, just because one animated live action adaptation works doesn't mean, oh, let's just do more animated live action adaptation. You got to have a great idea for a movie. You got to have a great idea to how to execute that movie. And they did it for How to Train Your Dragon. You have to find one that's a really good fit for it.
I also think you have to have some kind of a human anchor,
Yeah.
because otherwise, why do it? You know, I mean, you could say Lion King doesn't have a human anchor, but those are real animals,
Yeah.
and they're all real animals.
But again, that was just another animated remake.
yeah, it was just another
Just to
animated
remind
film.
everybody, the 2019 Lion King is not live action. It is a fully 100% animated film.
photorealistic animated movie.
Yeah, but it is just CGI nonetheless. All right. Next up, we go to crap. This thing is jumping around a bunch. Give me 1 second. Alice Fogel, happy birthday! You get a chance, Nick. If dragons are okay, here we go. Casey Mack writes, hearing you talk about weapons last night, I think I'm going to try. Also, let me get this because I get this stuff on the screen a little bit better. There we go. Hearing you talk about weapons last night, I think I'm going to try to skip all the trailers completely and go in completely blind like I did for Barbarian.
Do it. I mean, I don't want to tell people not to watch. Just watch it. Going blind.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you're a big fan of Barbarian, you're probably counting down the days to Weapon, right? And if you're already there, it's perfectly good to skip the trailers.
Also, I heard from one of the producers that there's a shot in the trailer that he's pissed is in the trailer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did he tell you which one?
Yeah, but I'm not going to say it out loud.
Don't-
in
don't
case
tell
anyone
me.
don't
Yeah.
watch the trailer.
Because nothing in the trailer looked like it was too revealing to me.
I didn't think it was revealing, but he did.
All right. All right. Next up, we've got Prizzy writes, wish we had events like this in Australia. Luckily, our cinemas now only have 15 to 20 minutes of ads and trailers. I timed my last 5 visits to see how long ads play for. Can't imagine 30 minutes of previews. Again, every time somebody brings it up, it risks me going off on my rage-filled rant about the whole thing, but I won't do that. Again, the customers are paying for a product. You're telling them the product is a movie at 7. Give them their movie at 7. Anyway, that's just kind of my thought. Anyway, next up, we've got Christopher Brickner, who writes, Minecraft movie reviews are out, and at 46 reviews, they're not bad. Reviews aren't great, but a 52% on Rotten Tomatoes is much better than I thought it would be. Look it up. What?
Yeah, I was
You
showing.
just showed me.
I was showing Ann earlier. I was pointing to her. It was at 53 when we last checked it, but now it's probably at 52. Oh, it's at 53%.
53%. How many reviews are in there?
Let me click on that. I'll get back to you.
All right. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I mean, 52 is 80 reviews in.
80.
52%, 53% is literally the definition of reviews are mixed. Half of the critics liked it, half of them didn't. which I got to admit with you, that is a much higher score than I thought it would be.
Let's put this in perspective. Electric State 15% and Snow White 40%.
All right. Next up, we got the Joshua. We'll see what that writes. Can one of you open up the MGM package and tell me what it is?
Oh.
It's cups. I want to, and I don't want to open it at the same time. Good seeing you all today. Yeah, so they gave us these boxes. Actually, Cody, you want to
I'll
grab
grab it.
the one and bring it over here?
Yeah, I haven't opened it.
They're like these metal temperature controlling tumbler cups.
Yeah.
Someone
That are really good.
too.
There's what?
straws?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're not. No, the straws aren't glass.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah, I'll get to it.
you don't have to open it. You just hold it up. But that's what's inside of it, inside the box, and they're really good. They're high quality. So that's what you have in the box. Nothing, no buckets of
What were
cash
those
or anything.
cups that everybody that were all the rage that were selling?
Stanley cups.
Stanley cups.
They're like smaller versions of Stanley
Yeah.
cups.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
All right. Next up, we've got Mark writes, "Happy birthday, Dr. Ann Campea. Rob and
you.
Ray, hope you are better. John, that Daredevil last night, oh my God. Haven't seen it yet. Still haven't seen it, but I'll try to watch it later tonight. We've been a little busy at Comic-Con, of course.
Oh my God.
All right, next up. Collector Movie Man writes, hey, from Michigan, 1:35 a.m. Happy birthday to Ann.
Thank you.
Again, that was last night as we were streaming
great.
extremely late. And a bunch of people, John, why did you do that stream so late? Because the panel didn't end until 10 p.m. So the earliest we could start was 10:30 our time, which was like 1:30 in the morning for everybody else. So we did the best we could.
I see what's going on here. You guys are both in on this. You wanted to wait until tomorrow, so she had 2 birthdays. You're
Yeah.
getting 2 birthdays.
Two birthday
We're going
greetings.
back to Peter Luger.
All right. Sean writes, fan for years. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Do you think Amazon can properly handle James Bond? Well, look, I want to bring this up again. Why is everybody pretending like pre-Amazon James Bond has been all flowers and lollipops? There has been shit James Bonds. I'm a big, not as big as Rob is, but I'm a big James Bond fan. There have been some very bad James Bond movies without Amazon. Amazon is showing that they can make some really high quality stuff. So honestly, I'll say this. I know this is going to be provocative, but I think it is pure ignorance for people to go, oh, well, Amazon's going to ruin Bond. You actually don't know Bond, do you? Because like Bond is a hit and miss kind of franchise, always has been. I don't know, Rob, what do you think?
Look, you're going to hear this. I love James Bond. I love the entire franchise, but I'll tell you something. There's only one good Daniel Craig Bond movie, and that's Casino Royale.
Wow.
I do not like Skyfall. I'm a quantum apologist, and Spectre and No Time to Die are garbage. I'm sorry.
First of all, I really like Skyfall.
Everyone loves Skyfall.
I thought Spectre was okay. No Time to Die, I didn't think was terrible, but not great.
Tying it all together. And you know what I don't like about Skyfall? It's their riff on they're trying to do the Dark Knight. It used to be in the 60s, Bond films set a trend for action cinema that didn't exist. And in the 70s, they were chasing trends. And the Daniel Craig movies did the same thing. They wanted to be born.
Well, I thought for the most part that the Daniel Craig was, but even prior to that, like some of the older Bond films, like
Oh, dude.
you can love
Diamonds
them
Are
for
Forever,
their
Man with a Gold
ridiculous-
Gun. I hate View to a Kill. But I
So-
just love James Bond movies.
So this idea,
All James Bond movies.
this
Even the ones I hate.
idea that people float
I
that
love.
James Bond has been a 10 out of 10 franchise for 60 years. Every single movie's been a banger. Oh no, but now that streak's at risk because of Amazon now. Can they handle? Well, I don't know how they handle Reacher so far.
The only
Done
thing
pretty good job with that.
I only want 2 things for what Amazon does with whatever they're going to do with the Bond franchise. I want them to keep the gun barrel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
They
I
have
will-
to.
yeah,
They
yeah.
have
I
to.
want them to keep the format of the pre-title action sequence and then the cool graphic title sequence. That's it. Everything else is on the table.
So look, does that guarantee Bond under Amazon is going to be great? No, but Bond under non-Amazon was never guaranteed to be great either.
Right.
So it could be good. Like, are they capable of doing it justice? Absolutely. And I'm sure they'll have some hits and have some misses, just like
You know,
everybody else.
They're talking about like going back and doing period Bond films. The problem is the first Bond films were period pieces now.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because what I brought up on a show that you weren't there the one time was somebody asked, do you think, I think the next James Bond movie should be set in the 60s or 70s because, be more true to the spirit of Bond. And like, no. You know what the tradition of Bond is? Bond comes out as a modern film.
Yeah.
That's what Bond, that's the
100%.
tradition of Bond. Every Bond movie comes out set in the time period that it actually is when the movie comes out. Bond is not about making a movie about 30 years in the past. So I think that should be absolutely modern.
And going back to Cold War, like, who wants to do that? What car is he going to drive? You want Bond to be cool and modern, and that was show you something new in the world.
All right, let's keep going here. Next, thanks for that, Sean. Appreciate that, man.
Thank you, Sean.
Sam Fisher writes, what does the acronym IIRC mean again? I've seen people use it. I don't know what it means.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, guys, just so you know, never use acronyms, please, for the love of God, guys. Don't
If I
write in
recall
acronyms.
correctly.
Okay, never use acronyms when you write into me, please. In the first 15 minutes of the animated one are very exposition heavy too. So 15 minutes of clunky exposition I can deal with. There's a difference between having exposition and it coming off right. And my problem with, because the exposition that gets dumped in the first 10 minutes or so of the live action How to Train Your Dragon, in the animated one, it's a lot of exposition, yes. But it feels like it has a soul. It feels like it has flow. It doesn't feel flat. It comes across. In the live action one, totally different. It felt like the intro to an SNL skit. It felt completely flat. It just felt too didactic, too much exposition. That's just it. And it didn't read well or anything like that. That's why I said I was so shocked that the movie just turns it around and suddenly becomes great. But I really thought it was. I wish they could fix the first bit. It's too late now, but I really wish they could fix the first bit. All right, next up, Krypton writes. Fun fact, the girl who plays Astrid is Thandie Newton's from Westworld's daughter. Yes, she is.
Looks exactly like her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was also in The Last of Us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. So, and man, it was a tall order to play Astrid. And man, she did it. She did. She came across great. She was so good in it. All right. Ace writes, how was Nick Frost in How to Train Your Dragon? Surprisingly good.
Yep.
I'm starting to believe Nick Frost can really do anything. Didn't they just they cast him as Hagrid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They did.
He's gonna do
He's
great.
a perfect especially after watching How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah. Now I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't have cast him to play. What's the name of the character again?
How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah. What's his name? The name of his character. But anyway, his Stoic's best friend and right hand guy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have cast him. I never would have thought that would. But once you see him in the movie, he totally works in the role. He's really, really good in it. All right. Next up, we've got Sam Fisher again who writes, I know they announced a sequel to Dragons.
Sorry.
Thank you. What was his name again?
Gobber.
Do you bring back Kate Blanchett and Jaimon Hansu to reprise their roles? I don't think you need to.
What are we talking about?
So so they've announced that they're doing the sequel for How to Train Your Dragon. They're doing How to Train Your Dragon 2. Now, they brought in Gerard Butler. Do you bring in Kate Blanchett? You don't need to. I really don't think you need to. Like, I don't think they needed to bring back Gerard Butler either, but take away the fact that Gerard Butler did the voice in the originals. He's a great casting for that role.
Yeah.
Even if he wasn't the voice. I don't think you need to have Kate Blanchett. Not to mention, that is not just some small order to go and get Kate Blanchett.
Right.
Right. So do you need to? I don't think you need to. I don't know. Do you guys feel different? Like you're a big fan of those.
I feel like they might.
They could.
She'd be great. Gerard Butler's voice in the first animated film was so iconic for that movie, and that was a big reason why, on top of him being a good actor, why they did it. So I could see it.
All right. Next up, we go to Ron H. who writes, Crew, are you not seeing the genius of it? Bottle Mike. Cody is a MacGyver. Now all he needs is a rubber band and plutonium. Tell you what, so we've got these little microphones that we're using, and it just sounds better. I mean, you're supposed to clip these on, but we ran some sound tests. It just sounds better when you're holding it a little bit in front of your mic.
It does.
So Cody came up with this brilliant idea, because these clips don't grab onto stuff very well. He had this brilliant idea. He goes, I got this empty water bottle, and he just attached it to make a mic out of it.
It works.
It was such a great idea.
It's
And
so much
the only
more
reason
comfortable.
I'm not doing it is I don't want to look like I'm copying Cody.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only reason I would do it.
See,
It's
see,
such a
folks?
brilliant idea.
Chlorine doesn't mess with your intelligence.
Chlorine doesn't mess with your intelligence.
That's proof right there. Cody is a genius.
All right. Next up, Sean writes, you may not remember me, but you shouted out support for me 3 years ago for surgery on my shoulder, looking at more. Lost my job. Oh, no, I'm sorry about that. Couldn't physically do it anymore. You guys brighten my day. Listen, number one, it sucks getting any kind of a physical injury. And for anybody at any time. It's compounded, though, when a physical injury literally impacts things you love to do. That, like, if you love video games, hey, crushing your foot, that sucks. You can still play video games, right? But like I think about you, Cody. Like if something would happen to your rotator cuff or elbow or something, like, and you couldn't swim anywhere. Like
I mean, I won't go down the whole story, but in 2018, I had some tears in my left knee, and I was out for about 9 months, and I literally lost like $150,000.
from not because you couldn't.
Yeah,
do
and at that point in my career, I really needed that. So
Dude, I would have fixed that thing for you. We could have halved it.
could have hacked it. But anyway, so sorry to hear about that, man, and hopefully you have a quick recovery on it. All right. Next up, Isaac Martinez writes, "Hey, John and crew, I hope you guys are doing well. We are doing well, and thankfully both Ray and Rob seem to be feeling much better than they were
I'm
the
feeling
first
much
night.
better. I'm still coughing, but my voice is back. Yeah,
Almost back.
Oh,
Yeah,
almost
whatever that nick
Yeah.
I had in my throat is gone now. So
All right. Carlos writes, "Hey, John and friends, quick question. How do you decide who goes to Cinemacon? Thanks for the great content." It's mostly just based on two different things, need and availability. So like we really need to have Ray here because like Ray does the editing out, the chopping of things, making up the thumbnails. It's just a lot easier for us to be able to do all that with him here. I obviously need to be here. For many years now, Rob has been my main cohort that we bounce off each other.
Plus, we'll talk about this for the rest of the year.
Oh yeah, we get to talk about that's the thing. No, it's true.
I mean that's
Like,
seriously.
literally
Absolutely.
almost every show. You guys know who watch the show regularly. Almost at least 3 shows a week. At some point, we're talking about a project, and we go, "Well, 5 months ago, we saw this at
Yeah.
CinemaCon, right?"
Yeah.
But then it comes down to availability. Like it would be great for us from a production point of view to have Jonathan Voico here,
right.
but he's got a family, he's got responsibilities. It's hard for him to up and take off for a week with the particular circumstances that they have. So that's not great. Chris Carr, we've brought Chris Carr a couple of years,
She's great.
but she's just dropping your life and coming to Vegas for a week is not something everybody can do.
And she teaches too.
Yeah, she's got classes to do. She's got other responsibilities. And so for the last 2 years, it just hasn't been something she's been available to do.
So we just got an Olympic gold medalist, baby.
Yeah.
We just got an Olympic gold
Well,
medalist,
with
baby.
With Cody, the thing was, like, Ann and I haven't seen Cody and Allie. It's been a couple of years
Yeah.
since we've seen each other, right? And so, because you guys live...
And Allie would have come, but she got a new job.
Just
so
started a new
she
job.
She couldn't take that off. Yeah.
And so, and Cody is such a massive film fan, is so great talking movies that, he and I were just talking one night. I said, why don't you come do cinema? He's never been to
Never
CinemaCon.
been.
So why don't you come out and do CinemaCon?
And
with
it's
us?
been a blast. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah. What were your impressions of the whole thing? Quickly.
I loved it. And I actually really liked that the first panel was Sony and they were the weakest because it just progressively got better. It was awesome.
Cody, I have to say, there's one thing I get jealous of people is people who could speak really well. You speak really well.
That's really nice.
You're great.
I don't think I speak very well compared to these two, but I appreciate that. That's very kind.
No, you do.
Yeah, you're great at talking.
I just wish I was your age so I could have partied with you back in the day.
Oh God.
Dude, you've been going. You're good. Come on, man.
That's been-
If you weren't a swimming nerd, I'd say you just come join our show. Like, become a
we
movie
did.
nerd.
We used to do stuff together. We had
Oh yeah, we did podcast.
the best. What was it? Best
movie,
Best movie, worst movie. Yeah,
We did that for a while. I love that show.
I love the show. We should maybe look at doing it. Anyway, I don't want to get ahead of myself. That was a fun show.
Good
We
show.
love doing best movie, worst movie. All right, let's move on here. Next up, we've got Kevin writes. I sends in a $20 super chat. Thank you, Kevin. Kevin Cow writes in.
Oh yeah, Kevin Cow.
Hello, John and crew. Thank you for all your updates from the con. I can't wait to see all these amazing movies coming up this year and next. Glad I ran into Ray and Rob earlier. Keep up with the great work, everyone. I remember you mentioned to me you ran into Kevin Cow.
I want to visit his store so bad. It's just the week is so packed that maybe if there's another time we come down here just to hang out, we could go see this store.
Yeah.
But thanks for saying hi. You're a nice dude.
All right. Thank you again, Kevin. By the way, Kevin once gave us these figures that he made that were like really, really
They're
cool.
awesome.
Love those. All right. Next up, we got Taki75 writes, how, boy, I'm going to freeze on this word. Never mind. That Val Kilmer cinematic swan song was Top Gun Maverick and his poignant reunion with Tom Cruise. I mean, yeah, and that was the last time I saw him on screen was at for Top Gun and stuff like that. And again, the Tom Cruise tribute that he gave to him today was really, really nice.
Do you know what came up in my feed? He did on stage a one-man show of Mark Twain, where he played Mark Twain.
Right.
It's awesome. I just saw a clip. It popped up yesterday, and I want to go back and watch that whole thing. He was great.
Yeah.
If there is something sweet about it, it did go for full circle with Top Gun Maverick. I was
And
introduced
the
to him
fact
with
that
the
Tom
Top Gun.
Cruise brought a whole auditorium full of thousands of people to take a moment of silence today was amazing.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got Avengers Dude writes, thank you guys for everything you do. Well, thank you. Looking forward to Tron and Avatar news from the Disney panel tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed the Tron and Avatar news we gave you. Do you think there will be any update on Sam Raimi's Send Help from 20th Century? I've heard nothing about the film, and so it's definitely not a movie coming out in the next year. A lot of people would write in over the last couple of months when we talk about CinemaCon saying, you think they'll announce this and announce that and announce this? It's like, this isn't Comic-Con. They don't do a lot of announcements. But they announced How to Train Your Dragon 2, yeah, because they just screened How to Train Your Dragon. So they'll do a little stuff. But I saw somebody questioning in the live chat earlier, did they talk about anything Transformers? It's like, there's nothing Transformers coming out. So even if they are planning more Transformer stuff, they wouldn't talk about it here. So no, nothing on any new Sam Raimi project yet. Thanks, Avengers. Next up, Collector Movie Man writes, did they show a trailer for Nobody 2? Yep, we talked about that yesterday. And if you're a fan of Nobody, you're in for a treat. I think you're going to like what they got in store for you because it was really good. The stuff they showed for it was great. All right, next up, Deck writes, from the Navajo Nation, roundtable question, favorite James Bond films and why? Well, we're not going to go into a 15-minute discussion here. But I think my favorite Bond film is the Daniel Craig Casino Royale. I think that still stands as my favorite Bond film. Rob, what about you?
Goldfinger, Our Majesty's Secret Service, Spy Who Loved Me, Living Daylights, GoldenEye, Casino Royale.
Haven't seen any, so GoldenEye the game is my favorite.
GoldenEye the game. What about you, Cody?
You Only Live Twice is my favorite film. Second one's probably GoldenEye, then maybe Casino Royale, and then Goldfinger. But we could. I'm not. Let me cut me off because I'm actually a super Bond nerd also. So.
I also think the best adaptation of Bond from Fleming's novels is From Russia with Love.
Do you have a favorite one, Ann?
I don't think I've ever seen a Bond film.
What?
Really?
LeBron James.
You didn't come with me to any of the James Bond movies? Did I go without you on those ones? All right, well,
no.
well, now we got some more movies we got to get you to
We're
watch.
not
All
spy
right,
genre people, baby.
next up, Spencer Smothers writes, I'm excited for Project Hail Mary. If you guys loved Project Hail Mary, check out Winter World by A.G. Riddle. This book is another great space story. Are you familiar with this one, Rob?
I don't know that book.
Yeah.
But I'll look it
It's
up.
got to be obscure if Robert Meyer Burnett
I'll
doesn't
look
know
it
a
up.
sci-fi
There's
book.
a lot. I mean, there's so much new sci-fi that I'm unfamiliar with.
All right. Next up, we go to Charles. But thank you for the recommendation, Spencer. Charles writes, from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Elbows up. I love the first. I don't know if you guys saw my elbows up shirt that I have. I love the first How to Train Your Dragon. Why is this live action worth seeing in theater if it's just the same live movie all over again? Well, number one, I don't want to go into the complete speech again, but here's the thing that I always talk about when you're talking about live action remakes. Movies are experiential events. And when you do a movie in a different medium, it creates a different experience. It's not necessarily better, not necessarily worse, but it's a different experience. And I'll tell you this, while this is definitely the story of How to Train Your Dragon that we get in the animated film, this is a different experience. I had a different experience watching this movie. It hits me differently because it's made differently, you know? And so why is it worth seeing? Because it's a great movie. That's why. And I can easily, in the same day, watch the animated version and watch the live action one. They're the same story, but it's a different experience because it's a completely different way that it's made. I don't know, Rob, how would you answer that question?
Well, I mean, the animated film, there's some people that just don't even relate to animation.
Yeah,
and now
true.
you've got that 16 years later, and there's a new generation has gone by. There's 3 How to Train Your Dragon movies, and I thought they were all good. And well, at least I only own 3. If there was a 4th one, I was unaware of it. But so seeing this, I think it was a different experience, and it was done by the same guy, the same writer director. So it has there's a legitimacy to it that a lot of these remakes don't have. And I think that the heart is in the right place, is in the same place that the original is. So, and plus, if you like the animated version, I think the live action version is worth checking out simply because just to see how it's different.
All right, next up, we got Suthius who writes, "Happy birthday, Mrs. Campea. We have the same birthday as Agent Phil Coulson, Clark
Thank you.
Gregg. Have fun, guys."
We also share a birthday with Pedro Pascal. I just want to
Oh, Pedro's birthday yesterday?
say.
That's pretty good. All right, next up, we got Caesar Rivera, who just sends in a super chat badge to be supportive. Thank you, Caesar. Cookie writes, oh, and this is our first, so that was all the super chats from yesterday.
Okay.
Oh goodness.
So now we're up to today already. So Cookie writes, "Hey John, did you get to see any Galactus footage? And if so, do you think Marvel will upload it as clips for the new Fantastic Four film?" I don't think we got any new Galactus footage. What we got was Silver Surfer footage.
Yeah.
I think every shot we got with Galactus in it was stuff that was again from behind the head, shadow casting, all that kind of stuff.
So they're holding off on that big William Shatner reveal.
By the way, and I don't know this, maybe they already did it. I don't think they're going to upload the Silver Surfer footage. I think that was just going to be an exclusive to CinemaCon.
The way it came off to me, it felt like more like a sizzle reel, like stuff. It wasn't like built like a trailer, so I don't know.
Well, it wasn't a trailer.
Yeah,
No, it was definitely wasn't.
So that's definitely not going to be released just like that. I don't think so.
No, probably not.
All right, next up. We got Daniel Vasquez who writes, "Glad to watch these live. While I wish I was there this year, but at least I'll be back next year. Plus, I'm going to sneak peek coverage on the 22nd. I don't know what sneak peek coverage is. What is that? Do you know what it is? Oh, you just, the way you said it, it sounded like you know
sneak
what it
peek
is.
of what?
Ooh. All right. Next up,
Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
Al writes, "It's sad knowing that this will be your last CinemaCon before retiring, but it was fun seeing you watch these presentations. Thanks for everyone." Yeah, we've been having this discussion about whether or not we still come to CinemaCons after I retire or not. I think Ann and I probably will still come to these things. I don't think I'll cover it, but we'll probably still come to these things.
Adam Aaron wrote that in.
Adam Aaron.
Watching you. To these guys.
Dwayne writes, "Saw the Naked Gun teaser. I died at the OJ scene."
Yes.
Yeah.
Priceless.
It is.
That guy's face was so priceless.
Yeah, like
He was like, oh my god.
Perfect.
it was so perfect. By the way, if you guys, they did release the Naked Gun trailer online that they showed us. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I think it's really funny.
It was at 1.4 million views.
Kyle writes, "Love the Naked Gun stuff. Hope they go 4 for 4. What does that mean?
That means he liked all the Naked Guns?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the 4th one.
Oh, were there 3?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's right. For some reason, I had in my head there were like 4 or 5 of them, but okay, they're older
Wasn't
movies.
one of them called The Smell of Fear?
No, that
Was
was,
that
I don't think
subtitle?
that was your personal video.
That's your personal video.
Got him.
But it wasn't something like that.
That was your personal
I
video.
found. Wait, I'm gonna look into this.
All right, next up. Amin writes, again, I've had so many people write this to me. "Any updates on the Martin Scorsese Kool-Aid film? They showed us the sizzle reel. Looked really good." All right. Cookie writes again, "I know it's a long time till we see it on screen, but what iconic moment do you want from Secret Wars comic to be put on the big screen?" I don't. I really don't. Because I want to see what their story is. And again, whenever a comic book movie comes out and it's got the name of a popular comic book storyline, it's never identical to it.
Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear.
That was the subtitle of it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have,
2.5.
even when you read it, I have no recollection of that being the sub.
And Naked Gun 33.5 third is the final insult.
How did you
I
edit that
remember-
wiki so fast?
Oh my God. But yeah, so like I could say, well, I really like the scene where Doctor Doom punches Thanos in the gut and rips his entire spinal cord and skull out. Yeah, but we don't know what the story's going to be, so I don't know if that would even fit in.
You know what?
So I don't really know.
I have stopped speculating because I thought for sure in Avengers Age of Ultron, the scene from Avengers 22 when all the torn up Avengers are going in to take out Ultron, all their uniforms are smashed and they smash down the door and Thor says, "Ultron, we would have words with thee." And I'm like, of course that's going to be in the movie.
Should have
Of
been in the
course.
movie.
And it wasn't.
That's
So I am not going to do any more comic book speculating for the rest of my life.
All right. Next up, Dino Vader writes, have your guys, probably mean you guys, have you guys seen the teaser for Naked Gun? Yep, we saw it before anybody else. So yes, we did, and it was fantastic. Jai CSC writes, my reaction to the Naked Gun teaser was like a toned-down version of the clip from Aaron reacting to The Boys. Suddenly, realization, disbelief, and laughter. I don't know if you know what that's about.
I don't.
So you know Erin Cummings, right? She has very visceral reactions to things, and which is great. One of the great things about her. She hadn't seen. Now, have you watched The Boys?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
She hadn't seen the episode. I think it was episode 1 of season 2, where the little guy shrinks down and goes into the penile head.
Mm-hmm.
So we found out Aaron hadn't seen that. So Chris and I decide we need to film ourselves with Aaron watching this for the first time. It was beautiful. It's like, oh my God, sort of thing. So to Jai CSC's point, his reaction to the Naked Gun teaser was kind of like that. Sudden realization, disbelief, and laughter. It's pretty funny. Again, if any of you haven't seen it yet, make sure you go watch it. All right, Amin writes, question for John, Rob, and Cody. How did the first flight in How to Train Your Dragon compare to Man of Steel First Flight, Harry Potter Hippogriff Flight, and Avatar First Flight? I think it beats it all. It beats it all. Like First Flight is great. Don't get me. First Flight is great, and there's a different thing to it because it's literally Superman flying for the first time, right? But cinematically, the How to Train Your Dragon First Flight with the cinematography of it, it's just so awe-inspiring. I think it beats all those other things in that regards. What do you think?
I don't think it topped the first Avatar flight for me.
I agree.
When he finally because I think they took a little of How to Train Your Dragon from, well, kind
For
of
it.
the same year. Yeah. But the thing is, the technology has increased. And I thought that for the movie, the first flight in this, see, what you're asking us to compare all of the great first flight scenes in movies. And I think for Avatar, all of them have a sense of wonder that is earned. So I wouldn't necessarily compare and contrast them. I think for the How to Train Your Dragon movie, it worked beautifully.
Yeah.
And when I saw Avatar, those other movies didn't exist yet. So Avatar was magical, and it still is magical.
Yeah.
When I watched that scene and they dive down the walls, it's amazing. And Superman's first flight in Man of Steel is also magical.
Yeah. For different reasons.
For different reasons. And so I think I would say they're all bangers.
They are.
They're all great. And within the context of the films, they will always work. You can go back and revisit them however many times you want. You still get that feeling.
Again, I still think the How to Train Your Dragon is the best one.
I just want to point out, you guys are a bunch of flight experts over here, huh? The white men in the room, huh? What, Asians don't know how to fly?
Dude, Asians don't know how to drive.
Oh! I'd say Iron Man is the best flight scene, boy.
All right.
Well, he didn't ask about Iron Man.
And he also didn't ask your opinion. So I just want to bring that up. Just want to point that out.
I'm just saying.
Okay. Next
I'm not
up.
going to go there because there's...
Lilo and Stitch teaser should have had Bucky. Lilo and Stitch teaser should have Bucky shout, "Get your own movie," like the old preview did. Example: Aladdin.
Yeah, that's for 3 of you guys. That's pretty.
I'm not quite sure what Damaris means.
They must have done that at a
Because
different
I know
Cinemacon.
it might be a reference to. Remember back in the day, they had Lilo and Stitch pop up in other classic
Yeah.
Disney animation stuff. I guess in one of them, Aladdin said, "Get your own movie." Anyway, in the stuff they showed, they had Lilo and Stitch like jumping in a Thunderbolt shot, jumping in a Star Wars shot, jumping in or whatever, and they made it look really good.
Yeah.
It looked like really authentic. It looked so good. All right. Next up, Christopher Brickner writes, "It's funny the prequels were marketed to kids, as while episode 1 has Jar Jar poop and fart jokes, episode 3 has most heroes die. Did anybody die in episode 3?
I mean, a bunch of children died.
Yeah, but none of the main heroes. Anyway, the villain wins, heroes turn evil and burns, and it shows all the kids died.
Well, when I was
Yeah,
a
but it
kid, I
did it
would
all
have been like,
bad.
that was awesome.
Yeah, we also had big conversations about. Well, anyway, I'm not going to go into it. Yeah, these movies, those movies are all dog shit.
No, they're not.
Anyway, Wiley Todd writes, "I would love to know what they showed for the Bruce Springsteen movie. I read the book. It's incredible. Also, how did my favorite actor, Tom Cruise, do at the presentation?" Well, we went over the Tom Cruise. Tom was... Look, Tom, at this point, he's in his 60s.
Yeah, 62.
He is truly a Hollywood
He'll
statesman.
be 63 in July.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. But he is a true statesman of the industry. And when you see him on stage, the way he communicates, the way he speaks, the way he conducts himself, like, I can have my opinions about some of the other craziness in his life, but there is no taking away. He is a true statesman so he was obviously really, really great. I forget what the actual question was. Oh, what they show for the Bruce Springsteen. A lot of stuff with, I guess, him and the love of his life, I'm gathering. I don't know a lot about Bruce Springsteen's personal life. I just know a lot of his music. Scenes with him and his thing, and then one big concert scene while I was singing Baby I Was Born to Run. So I would, by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if they put that online. I don't know if it's online, but if it is, if you're not sure, go check it out because you should watch it. It looks pretty good. Thank you, Wiley. Next up, Christopher Brickner writes, better Tron villain, Clue 2 or MCP? I prefer Clue 2. I like his backstory of accidentally being given an impossible task to create the perfect system, and it drove him insane. Also, Jeff Bridges was great. Who's MCP?
The Master Control Program.
Oh, from the
first
original film. Right.
See, but the Master Control Program for that movie was awesome. You know, I love when he's talking to David Warner. You know, you're getting brutal, Sock. Brutal and sadistic. I mean, the MCP is cool.
I'm so happy I've never seen these movies just by those names.
Clue?
You would love Tron.
I
When
know,
a
I
guy
know.
gets sucked into a video game world.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Christopher Brickner also writes, in Tron Legacy, Clue 2 committed genocide of the ISOs, forced programs into death games, and reprogrammed others into his loyal soldiers, brainwashing. He's a pretty dark villain when you think about it. Yeah, I don't think he was a particularly good villain, but he was a dark villain. Yeah.
But they're programs. They're not real people.
Or are they?
Well,
Or are they?
Commander Data would have words with you about that.
Yeah, it's
so.
true.
All right. Next up, we got Sam Fisher writes 6 foot Neeson being able to pass as a 4-foot girl. First of all, Liam Neeson is not 6 feet tall. He is taller.
A lot taller.
He is
Yeah.
a big man. I have stood with him on a couple of occasions. He's a big man. Anyway, being able to pass as a 4-foot girl is dumb, but all the other jokes were funny. If this can revive the parody satire movie, I'll be happy. I'm going to tell you right now, I love that gag.
100%.
First of all,
What do you want, little girl?
first of all,
He's-
that's like the Mission Impossible masks. It's totally believable because that technology is real to that movie. How can you get mad at that joke? That was real, goddammit.
That was a great joke.
It was real.
and then he gets bigger as he gets out of the costume.
And the Neesons is 6'4".
Yep,
There it is.
the Liam
6'4".
Neesons. The Liam Neesons. I'll tell you, the guy's got gorilla mitts for hands too. I remember I shook his hand once, and like his fingertips went all the way up to my elbow almost.
Oh,
Like the dude, he's a huge dude.
he also has a reputation.
I'm sure he does.
Oh, boy.
Anyway,
Him and Don Johnson.
the Joshua writes, I could have listened to Tom Cruise's behind-the-scenes stories, the whole Paramount presentation, and I would have walked out happy. Yeah, again, just the way he told stories about McHugh, about
was
Christopher
great.
McQuarrie, and I learned so much about Christopher McQuarrie through that. Like, it was.
I hope they
wonderful.
put that online. I hope that Cinema United puts that online on their website.
That would be great.
I think they should, because he was giving him an award.
Yep.
So that was proprietary to their event. So I think we might see that speech online.
The two things that I would have legitimately paid money for to see here, A, that speech, that whole segment was great, and then B, just the Universal Orchestra, everything, all that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if I just got that here, I would have been very satisfied.
No, I think that speech could very well be online. That Cinema United puts it up.
I hope they do, because the stories he told were just great.
Great.
All right. Next up, Jai CSC writes. Sorry, I have a little something to eat. We've been going for 2.5 hours, guys. So we're in the home stretch here. All right. Jai CSC writes, while Netflix's mantra is destroy cinemas, have they ever had any presence at Cinemacon? No, absolutely not.
No.
For research or even invited to host a presentation panel. No, guys. Cinemacon is a movie theater owners convention. A movie theaters owners
It used
convention.
to be called Show West,
Yeah,
and NATO put it on, which they rebranded
to Cinema Unlimited or Cinema United is the name of
Cinema
it.
United.
But it is still, at the end of the day, it is a movie theaters owners convention. There is no, they would be just as well to have, I don't know, Snickers come and do a presentation as they would to have Netflix, because Netflix has nothing to do with their industry.
Right.
Now, Amazon owns MGM, and they have a 15 theatrical movie a year commitment, so that makes them part of the family. But Netflix has, like I said, they have as much to do with CinemaCon as Nike has to do with CinemaCon.
And they were also planting their flag. This was the first year that Amazon MGM was here, and they came specifically to make their commitment
clear
to this convention.
Yeah, and they crushed it.
Crushed it.
They totally crushed
Really
it.
crushed it.
All right. Next up, Jordan Ross writes, I appreciate you and the gang. Love movies. You help me keep in the loop on everything and get me excited for this magical art form that is cinema. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Listen, we always wanted the show to be something that you could just tune into anytime and feel like you're hanging out with your friends talking about it. And if that's what we're able to accomplish for you, then that means we've accomplished the mission. So thank you for the kind words. We appreciate that, man. All right. Thanks, Jordan. Sam Fisher writes, it's interesting it's called The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender, because Avatar, The Legend of Aang is actually the series' international title. I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
I didn't know that.
And I actually didn't notice what, I'll be honest, I also don't care what the order of the title is. Like, I'm interested in the movie. I'm interested in the movie. I just don't care whether it's Avatar, The Legend of Aang, or The Legend of Aang, Avatar. Doesn't really matter to me. But
the way you said that, it's just so nice. I just love it. It's almost like the guy's at the door and you're just, no. You're just closing the garage door on them.
just saying. I'm looking forward to the movie.
I just like the way you said that. It was just so funny.
Okay. Anyway, next up, Mark H. Choi just sends in a $20 super chat just to be supportive. Thank you, Mark.
Joy.
Appreciate it. Then he sends in another one and he writes, great work, gang. I usually don't seek out various interviews from junkets for certain shows or movies, but I am so in love with the studio that I wanted to know more than what your crew provides. On Howard Stern's show, Seth said that one of the episodes is about and at Cinemacon. You know what? I was honestly thinking that as we were sitting in theaters, like, because seeing the studio heads come out, I'm like, I wonder if one of the episodes of the studio will be about Cinemacon. Apparently will be. If you didn't know it, thought you get a kick out of knowing. I do get a kick out of knowing that. Before you return, be safe.
This is exactly what I think this show is going to do for people. That people that didn't know they were interested in this will get interested and start looking into things. I just find that fascinating how you could be. I could watch a thing on wine, never drank wine in my life, but by the end of the documentary, I'll be like, I need to try all these.
You haven't
wines.
watched a studio yet, though, have you?
No, I have.
Oh, you
I
did?
watched them twice on the same day. I watched them at work, and then I watched them when I got home because they were so good. They were so good. I watched.
Things you don't say in front of your boss.
I was doing work while I was watching it. Right.
All right. Next up, we go, Me, It's Not the Father Murray. Me is not the Father Murray. All right, I missed the Naked Gun movies. I remember Leslie Nielsen and those movies as a kid, and they were funny, even though I was probably too young. Too late now. Yeah, listen, I agree. They were one of the last vestiges of the great spoof movie. Every spoof movie, like, I don't like to paint with too broad of a stroke, but every spoof movie made in the last 20 years is shit. And there was an era when they were all great. It felt like every one that was coming out was great and something to look forward to. And then I don't know which movie it was that all changed, and they all just became pathetic pop cultural references.
Yeah. But the Zucker brothers and the Abrams and the two Zucker brothers did something unique. I mean, you watch Airplane now, and the jokes come so fast and so furious. You're watching those, and some of them you would never get away with today.
Mhm.
And they're so good. And it's just my favorite one.
Well, Liam Neeson's going to try to get away with it.
I'll tell you what I think was one of the funniest things in Airplane. So if you were ever lived in LA, you remember LA from a long time ago, they had a recorded message whenever you'd pull up to the gate at LA to drop off people. And the red zone is for you cannot park in the red zone. You can only drop people off. And they would have these voices, and there was a male voice and a female voice. The red zone, you can't. And then for the movie, when people are pulling up to the airport, you have the red zone is not for, and the woman chimes in and goes, "Don't start with this red zone, white zone shit. You know what this is about. You want me to have an abortion." and they got the same people to do the voice. And I remember, because I had been to LA a couple of times, I thought that was the fact that somebody thought that up, and then they went and got those people. Now you could just use AI. But this was 1980.
I still think one of the greatest moments in Airplane, I mean, maybe one of the single greatest, funniest moments in the history of film out of Airplane. And there are several things you could say out of Airplane. But excuse me, miss, I think I may be of some help. I speak jive. I nearly died. I still to this day
Hold on, wait.
left myself sick.
What? And by the way, that's Leave It to Beaver's mother.
Yep.
And it's two guys speaking in jive where it's subtitled.
Yep.
I haven't seen it so long, but was there a part where like there's a line of people slapping a lady?
Yes.
Yes.
What was that reason for though?
She's just being hysterical.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then there's a huge lineup of people like ready to beat her. Oh, so good. Okay, anyway, we guys can keep going here.
If you guys
Raymond
haven't
Verada
seen
writes,
Airplane, what is your problem?
you got to watch Airplane. Raymond Verada writes, just saw the Superman sneak peek. No need to watch Minecraft. With the sun healing thing, what if it was winter? It's 24-hour darkness in the Arctic. Well, it looks like, first of all, we don't know it's in the Arctic. I mean, that's first thing. Second thing, it looks like this Fortress of Solitude can move. So there's that too. But yes, actually, that's a really good point. They were going to make a big deal out of come see Minecraft because you're going to see a sneak thing of Superman. By the way, maybe this isn't it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe the thing playing in front of Minecraft is a different thing than the sneak peek we just got. I don't know that.
Also,
Let's look at the schedule
just
tonight.
conjecture.
Also, I would say that the Fortress of Solitude, even if it can't move, would shoot something into the sky and send it
To
orbital,
deflect it.
or
Yeah.
probably already has an orbital mirror somewhere that if they need to, they could fire down. Superman's already thought of that
You
stuff.
can't tell me that Crystal Maker, that Saborsky, whatever, is not going to make a replica of that palace.
The Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, Fortress.
Palace.
Fortress
The
of Palace.
Superman Palace.
Well, the Crystal
All right.
Palace, like in War Games.
Remy writes, who else is disappointed about the 2026 Street Fighter movie by Legendary / Sony being shelved indefinitely? Was hoping a revival of Mortal Kombat / Street Fighter rivalry a la 1995. I heard something about that, but I don't know any of the details.
I had no idea they were making a movie.
If they
I
shelved
wish I
it,
didn't
it
know.
probably wasn't
Yeah.
going to be good. So
Yeah.
we're probably better off without it.
Yes. Yeah. If you've got a movie that you don't think is coming together, just shelve it. Don't waste the money. All right. Dwayne writes, which studio won Cinemacon for you guys? Rob, which studio do you think won Cinemacon?
I think for me, Amazon. Because Amazon had a tough job to plant a flag. I thought they had, for me, the most interesting lineup. But that's for different reasons. But I think ultimately it was probably Universal.
See, I think Universal put on the best presentation
Yeah.
But I think Amazon won CinemaCon.
Yeah.
They made the biggest statement. They, as far as furthering, every studio comes with an agenda. As far as furthering their mission and their agenda, Amazon did the most. It was their first place here to a lot of skeptical theater owners about their actual commitment to theatrical. And they came out with everything. And they brought all the stars. I mean, they're the studio that brought out Ryan Gosling and Ben Affleck, and I think they're the ones who brought out Andrew Garfield, and they brought out Chris Hemsworth, and they brought out Chris Pratt, and they brought out all this kind of stuff. And they goes, "Here's you wondering if we're committed to theatrical, check this out." Boom, and they dropped that thing. And so I think as far as making the biggest impact, I think it was probably Amazon.
And their slate more than anything.
Yeah, the slate was fantastic.
My vote obviously is for Paramount. You guys remember the part where he's about to introduce Naked Gun and he's silent and there's a guy narrating for him? I thought that was hilarious. I'm just saying Paramount brought everything. They might not have all the movies, but I really do like what Paramount does every year.
Stupid gag, but he's driving on the freeway and some man comes in and just
some coffee.
I mean, that was totally stupid, but I thought that was hilarious.
Who would you say won CinemaCon? Well, this is your first one.
Yeah, so for me as an attendee of this event, it was definitely Universal. Just the music,
the orchestra thing was such a great touch.
Orchestra.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, it's if you're not here, you can't understand. Like when someone comes out on stage, they have to walk to the center, and then when they go off stage, then they bring out another person. So there's all this dead time, and the studios that are experienced that know how to put on a good show find ways to keep the show flowing, so you don't feel like you're waiting.
Yeah,
I felt like the Universal panel flew by.
It
really did.
And there's something very emotional when you actually have a real live orchestra.
Yeah,
the music.
Like I said,
you feel it.
Paid for
you
that.
feel it. Yeah.
All right, let's move on here. Next up, we've got The Multiverse is Broken. Right. Just want to say that I look forward to this week every year, particularly because of your live streams. Oh, thank you, man. Been tuning into these since 2022. Yeah, and I there's something quaint about the way we used to shoot these. For those of you who maybe are watching this for the first time, what we would do every year at Cinemacon is literally have to squeeze onto a couch and then just put one camera on us so as we're all squeezed in and just having the laptop mic pick us up. This is a much better setup. I think this is a much, much better setup. And it's been great. And I also, this is the thing I look forward to other than the Oscars. This is the event I look forward to every year. This is what I look forward to every year to coming and doing and doing these live streams. And thank you so much for that, man. I really appreciate it. All right. Next up, we're down to the last two questions. Christopher Brickner writes, I don't mind trailers before film because time that if I leave my house from the start time, I get there when the film actually starts. Okay, Christopher, here's the problem. Go ahead, baby.
You're probably going to say what I'm going to say. Go ahead.
No, I want to hear it.
You don't have to do that part. Like, why do you plan around showing up for after the trailers? Like, that shouldn't even be a part of your timeline to go see a movie. That was my...
See, you only say you do that because they do it. Like, to me, saying that, well, I don't mind the beginning trailers because I just know how to time when I need to leave. That's like saying, I don't really mind that my neighbor kicks me in the balls because it makes me remember every morning to put on a jock strap, to put on a cup. Well, you wouldn't have to put on the cup if the neighbor didn't kick you on the balls. Well, I just time it so I get there after the trailers. Well, you wouldn't have to time it to miss the trailers or to get there.
I don't think I'd want that problem.
It feels like there's something more to this. Like it was very specific here. But yeah.
No, I mean, you wouldn't have to do that if they just started the movie when they said they would start the movie. That's all I'm saying. All right. Next up, last question of the day comes from Jobby, who says this. This is my first ever super chat to any creator, and I wanted it to be you guys. Oh, thank you so much.
That's very nice.
Man. I'm a bit disappointed that we didn't get any Transformers 1 sequel, but I can't say I'm surprised. Love you guys. Good night. Here's the problem. Transformers 1, which they gave us our first real full look at last Cinemacon, And I came out saying, guys, I know the first trailer looked weird, but believe me, this movie's going to be really good because the stuff they showed us was amazing. And Transformers 1, straight up, it's. I said it when I first came out of it. I'll say it again. It's the Transformers movie I've been waiting my whole life for. It's wonderful. I'm not saying it was the best movie of the year, but it was wonderful. But it also flopped.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody went to go see it.
Yeah.
And you can't, as a responsible studio, crank up a sequel when the audience said we didn't want to see it, which is really too bad. But I get it. I think there will be more Transformers at some point, but I think they're going to have to take a step back, regroup. I don't think we're going to see that G.I. Joe Transformers thing.
Oh,
I don't think that's going to happen.
I was just strictly animated. They had the Ninja Turtles logo without no title. I think they're just specifically concentrating on that property next, and probably will go back to the Transformers. Give it a little bit of time, I think. I think you need to give even though we love Transformers 1, it doesn't hurt to give it a little time.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. They're going to have to let it breathe a little bit,
Yeah.
unfortunately, and then come back and try again. So yeah. Anyway, guys, that'll do it. Not just for this live stream. We haven't had dinner yet. It's 7:30. We got to go eat. But for this live stream, but not only this live stream, that'll do it for our coverage of Cinemacon 2025.
Yes.
I had a great time this year.
Thank you.
I loved it. Thank you guys for being here on these streams with us and watching everything. Super appreciate it. And yeah, it was just awesome. Rob, if you had to give one favorite memory you're going to have, either in presentation, out of presentation.
It's got to, well, in presentation, it's got to be seeing that Hail Mary.
That was
Hail Mary
such
footage.
a great treat.
But you know what I have to say, to be honest, I'm getting to know you better.
Oh, thanks, Rob.
I mean, I'd only ever stream with you, but I didn't know who you were as a person.
And we spent a lot of time together.
Yeah,
Like,
we did.
all-
And it was, you're a really good dude.
Thanks, man. I think you're a really good dude.
And it was really nice. I mean, I thank you.
Hey, Ray,
the whole-
too.
Yeah, but I don't know how to fly.
No, but actually, but the three of us spent a lot of time together, and it was fun because
Yeah.
it was really good. I want to thank both John and Ann for making this whole thing possible and bringing us out here and making this happen. And it's been fun to come back on the show, and I've really been enjoying myself. But this was a lot of fun.
I agree.
I just wish it was frustrating to not be able to speak.
Let me just go to Cody here.
Yeah.
Your favorite memory of that you're going to walk away with, the favorite thing that happened at Cinemacon.
Oh my goodness.
Besides being sexually accosted by a waitress, apparently one night in a restaurant.
And getting stepped on by Anna de Armas.
Come on, dude.
Oh yeah, getting stepped on by Anna de Armas.
The worst problems any man could have.
Honestly, the things that I was most surprised by, like The Bride and Crime 101. Like, because I'm so excited for both those, and those were not even on my radar before. Superman footage was awesome, but we kind of expected that, And then also just the experience, like I said, of Universal putting on that musical display was so enjoyable. Like it was, and the most thing, I really feel like I got to know Rob really well, and you too, Ray. We had a good time.
Yeah, we
We had a
did.
great
I
time.
want to thank.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
Going.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anne's turn. Anne, what would you say when a week from now you're looking back at CinemaCon as a whole was your favorite memory of CinemaCon?
Gosh, I have such boring ones because I do appreciate like all the presentations, but I actually
You did run into the bear guy.
did get to see Jeremy Allen White gambling. That was nice. I actually love, this is going to sound really nerdy and boring, that a lot of the studio execs have stepped up and started to really say this is how we propel our businesses forward.
Yeah.
And from somebody who works in operations and within a marketing space, I think they went beyond what I saw last year, where they were like,
Wow.
we don't know what to do with streaming services. We're kind of in a rut around what our strategy should be. But all the execs came in saying like, no, we this is what we're gonna do. And they're planting their strategies and things that will help their businesses grow. And I always love seeing the partnership between exhibition and studio. Super nerdy stuff, but I think this year they really went for it with like, this is how we grow the business even more. This is how we become more efficient. This is how we kind of break into whatever the next vision of cinema is going to be.
Yeah.
Ray, what about you? What's your favorite memory?
I should have went ahead of her because now mine's stupid. I just wanted to say thank you to you two for always letting me come with you guys. There's something. My favorite part about going to CinemaCon, even the first one, is John. He's watched so many movies. his like I'm not a big of a movie fan, but just witnessing him react to certain new things, it still just blows my mind because he's seen it all. So when he like reacts or really likes something, I think it makes me happy inside, you know. So that's always a big part, seeing everyone else, especially you, Cody. This year was your first year. I remember my first year, and I was just like, I really hope you like it, and you had a good time. So that's really it. Like the movies don't always change, the previews will always change, the amount of videos and studios will always change, but it's just the reactions from the people you love is you can't trade that in.
I will say us getting emotional together during that scene in How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh yeah,
was so proud of you. You and I were both crying. That was special.
What about you?
Honestly, I think my favorite thing was how many people who watch our show from around the world came up and would introduce themselves to us everywhere we went in Vegas this week. Like some of my favorites was like this guy comes up to me, and we actually sat near him a couple times, but this guy this big man comes up to me at
He's
the end
like
of
6'5".
Yeah, big man comes up to me after one of the presentations yesterday. Says, "Do you know how many fans you have in Switzerland?"
Oh wow!
I'm like, "What?" And so, like, one of the theater owners from Switzerland, but
He's watching right now.
but like, and it was great. And his wife gave me a big, legitimately real, authentic Swiss chocolate bar, which I got sitting right over there with my name on it. But like, just everywhere we went in Vegas, just people from the movie industry coming up, both on the theatrical and the studio sides, coming up and saying they watch us and all that kind of stuff. It's just always really cool to get, because when we do the show and when we do this, we're sitting in a room, we're talking into a lens, right?
Yeah.
Something becomes the verisimilitude of it, the tangibilization,
tangibilization
of it when we actually are just out and about, and like people come up and say, "I've been watching you since high school. I've been watching you for 5 years," or like that's always kind
I
of my
had
favorite part.
the couple that you guys met first from Puerto Rico. They've been interacting on my channel for years. You know, they were married here in Vegas. And then I ran into my friend Jamie, who I've known for 15 years online, but never met in person. And he was walking down right next to me, and he didn't say anything. Because, you know, fans of ours come up to us, they walk with us. You know, I turned and looked, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's Jamie," you know, and I like hugged him.
Was he here for Cinemacon as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
But you
so
know what I
movies
think?
do bring people.
You know what? I now that I think about it, because I didn't really ponder this, but you know what this CinemaCon did? I think we've been getting a little jaded about movies. And I think that the CinemaCon, at least for me, made me realize there's still much joy to be had in cinema.
Yeah.
And much joy because there's a lot of stuff we all got excited about. The studios, I mean, look, the joy that I felt seeing that Project Hail Mary.
Oh yeah.
I
It
mean,
looks so good.
but having read the book and been excited, like, how is it going to be? And to see it like perfectly realized. Now I've missed something to be excited about that's coming out like a year and a half from now.
Okay.
And now I have something.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
I have, now that I've had a little time to reflect on the question, I have a newfound appreciation for all the people in this business. I have always loved Hollywood history. I've always loved filmmaking. I've always loved this. That's how I, got to meet you guys, right? But walking the trade show floor and seeing the dozens and dozens and dozens of different companies that are here that depend on the movie theater business, and the thousands of people in the auditorium with us that employ hundreds of people that are rooting for movies to be good because they love movies, and those movies doing well benefits thousands of people across the world. It's their livelihood and it's their passion. And that was really special. That's something that I'd never experienced before. So like when Tom Cruise walks out on stage and he gets a 60-second, basically, ovation of people clapping for him, that's because what he did with Top Gun Maverick made a huge difference to the movie theater industry. I mean, a lot of people said it saved the movie theater industry, and they know that. And there was just love and energy. And so it was a really, really fun experience for me. So I really appreciate it. And you guys made it so much more fun and better. So thanks.
Well, guys, we got to wrap this up because we got to go eat. So thank you again to everybody, all of you watching, all of you guys who are still here in the live chat, Larry, Jose, Cubid, Marvel, Amin, Hayden, all you guys who are in there. Thanks for still sticking around. There's still like 3,000 of you guys here too, almost getting close to 3 hours of the stream. Thank you again, guys. That'll do it for us. And the next time you see me will be from the John Campea Show studios. That's it for tonight. My name is John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.